Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. That broken Wookiee signifies one thing, that we are here and we are live on this week's Freaky Friday. And may I open up the show by saying a massive and a freaky happy birthday to Shrek, Scotty Lopez. 55 today, dude. You don't look a day over 30.
55. Wow.
You're wearing well, man.
How
old are you today, man? How old are you today? How old? Come on, tell us.
I am the ripe age of 37. So
I was gonna say 37.
No, I wasn't gonna go anywhere near 37. I would have said maybe the Masonic 33, but I wouldn't have gone that high. That's a bit highball, dude. You are wearing well, man.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, I guess the young looks run in my family.
I'm thinking about myself here. I've only got 6 years on you, and I've got a face that looks like the roadmap of Great Britain and a face for radio. Joe, he's the same age as me, I think, roughly, and he looks like an old dude. Let's face it, he looks like somebody's grandpa. So I think you're doing pretty well, man.
I have to thank my mom. I inherited the good genes from my mother, so.
Thank you, Mrs. Lopez. Yes, I haven't seen you all week, guys. How you doing? I'm glad to see you're still here. You're not been quarantined. You're all right. You're still in the land of the living.
Oh my God! I didn't think we're all gonna die.
Yeah, I started going when I found out that they were moving coronavirus people over to Nebraska. I think they transported 13 of them from the cruise ship in New Jersey to a bio-quarantine
facility.
A bio-quarantine facility in Nebraska. I was like, very interesting. And
are you serious? I'm telling you, they're moving people to a FEMA camp in Nebraska.
Yes, I know. You're serious, Joe.
I'm serious.
It's getting serious out there. It really is getting serious, man. We're gonna.
Now, could you imagine, though? But could you imagine if that's perhaps what might have to be done? Now, look at what's going on in China. Look at what's going on in Italy and other countries where they've had to go and they've had to quarantine entire towns. And I've said it before, it doesn't take a lot of people to lay siege to an area. So if they need to lay siege to an area, they can do so. And if things like degenerate in any sort of way, shape, or form where resources are restricted, it's going to get ugly fast. And the only thing they're going to do is let people kill each other. And they die at the same time from being sick. And it's probably what's been going on in China, I would imagine, in some way.
So hang on though. Wait a minute. Scott, have you noticed a bit of an attitude change here? I mean, I remember not too many Freaky Fridays ago. I'm pretty sure we had somebody on the show that was absolutely assuring me and you that this was nothing more than the sniffles, right?
It is the sniffles. It truly is the sniffles. It is the common cold.
I'm going to start calling you Mr. Sniffleophagus.
Mr. Sniffleophagus, I am.
I'm telling you, dude.
It's a common cold with a cherry on top.
Don't listen to that, Joe
Joseph. The cherry on top is we're going to strip you of all your antibodies, so the next time we come around, I'm going to stop your heart.
Joe Joseph, he's spreading out some harmful disinformation there, that Joe Joseph.
Mr. Sniffles is a actual closet assassin.
It's made of sugar, spice, and everything nice until the professor added one ingredient. Chemical X.
That's right.
Joe,
But
for the purpose of of today's show, will now be referred to as Mr. Sniffleupagus.
Mr.
Scotty.
Sniffleupagus.
Yes, I feel some Photoshop magic with that one. But no, what was very interesting though is that, so I had seen that they had moved these people to Nebraska, right, which is, just a hop, skipping away north of where I live, right?
Now,
So
what's the closest place to you that was a bioweapons lab that you were telling us about?
So that's the National or the National Agro and Bio Defense or whatever facility that is located in Manhattan, Kansas, and that is where they're relocating Plum Island. Because Plum Island is old and dilapidated and no longer that useful for the 21st century, I guess you could say. So they're upgrading everything and moving it all to the middle of the country. And then I find it interesting how they move all of these coronavirus patients from the cruise ship to this separate biocontainment lab that was built in Omaha, Nebraska, or near Omaha, Nebraska. Now, what I find interesting about that is, while I was watching them discuss this on the news, and they were talking to some lady, I believe from I don't know exactly what agency she's from, maybe the CDC or something like that, but they were talking about how this facility in Omaha, like, she was like, well, nobody has really paid much attention, or not much attention has been given to this facility, but it was built in 2006 and blah, 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 blah. So it's like a new facility out there. And it's kind of like one of these facilities that they don't want people to know about, or they didn't want anybody to know about. But now that they're having to transfer people with coronavirus there, that now they're having to kind of come out and say, oh yeah, well, we have this bio containment facility out here. It's not a bio lab, it's a bio containment facility. So I'm wondering, is it specifically made for this kind of purpose? Is it?
Will be, because I think that we've got one in the UK that's near Liverpool as well. Had a caller on the other night, and he was finding it quite weird that we took them to this facility. And I'm like, this must be some contingency plan that the likes of the US government, the UK government. It makes sense, folks, right? Away from any conspiracies, anything. I mean, viruses are real. I get that they're man-made as well, but you have to have fallback plans. There's plans in place. That's why they drill things out and things. So, it's funny you hadn't heard of that. Yeah. It's weird though, right? I get it. Big time, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And they also took some of the patients to like a university medical center or something over there in Omaha as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Nebraska, and for a lot of people out there who don't know, Nebraska is kind of the home to a lot of kind of shady continuity of government sort of facility sort of situations, right? You remember a certain date in 2001, President Bush was flown to Nebraska and led to an underground continuity of government facility. So it just shows that these locations, a lot of these really kind of COG, off the radar.
Okay, now something is happening. You still there, guys? You're there? Yeah, you're there?
Yeah.
That was weird. We all blinked out of existence there. Are we still online?
Whoa.
Now, I do know that we're getting battered by something called Storm Ellen over here. This is like this is a North Atlantic cyclone that's going on. And trust me, it actually sounds like a cyclone outside for once. It's pretty windy. Usually, Scott, I tell you, right, that they over-egg it here. But
yeah, but you still do get weather there. I mean, you get considerable.
Yeah, but Joe, listen, right? treat any weather front like it's going to be some hurricane
Oh,
barreling into
But that's
Florida,
the way it
right?
is now
Yeah,
anyway. Everything's
yeah,
commercialized, even
yeah.
the weather forecast now.
This one
Hey
I'm listening
guys,
to, but this one
we
I'm
got a
listening
little
to,
too much.
this one here, it deserves a name. It's worthy of the
Does it?
name. Yeah,
You
definitely,
think
dude.
so? Okay.
Yeah,
Because we got a little bit. We've got 100 pallets too many of rock salt. So
it's harp,
let's
Joe,
hype
it's
this
harp.
one up. Would you
The
hype
fired
it
up
up?
harp, Joe, it's harp.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, so anyway, with this coronavirus, I got some stuff. Then we also have flu deaths have spiked this year. We'll talk
And
about
you've
that.
also got a really weird case that I'd never heard of with missing people and doomsday cults.
So we'll
and...
go over the Lori Vallow case. That's going to be crazy. And then also we've got a plague update. Not the plague. I mean, I'm sorry. The plague of locusts update.
Not
We
to
have to be
worry anyone.
careful about this in the apocalypse. You have to be careful because
Yeah, I like how there's so
We have
many
to be
apocalyptic
specific.
things going on. We're getting confused of. Oh wait, we're not talking about the plague. We're talking
not
about the
the
locust.
literal plague. We're talking about the plague of locusts.
Well,
Okay.
before we
And tomorrow, people will update you on the rivers turning red and turning to blood.
Maybe, dude, you never know. I actually seen a story the other day about red rivers somewhere. I'm gonna have to dig that up. But before we go anywhere and give the guys a chance to reset their apocalyptic scenario mode, okay, I'm gonna head into the chat room over at tfrlive.com. A big shout out to everyone that's tuned in today. Hope you're ready to get your freak on. If you want your shout out, if you want that extra little dopamine squirt that we offer to our audience, then please head on over to the chat room at tfrlive.com/chat, where yours truly will try to read out your name. I say try because I'm illiterate on a good day. So let's go and have a look at what it says here. First up, there's some guy in there called Kev Baker, not to be mistaken with Dave Baker or Kev Beggar. It's Sophia the Robot's in there. One of our newest hosts on the network, Wise Wolf Radio. Silamo is in there. Paradox Anomaly, or Paradoxical Anomaly. We've got Cold Brews. Yes, we'll take 3, please. In fact, we should just pass them around everyone. It's Scott's birthday, so we're in party mode here today. I don't know if we can allow Smelly Pits OMG into the party. I don't know. You're going to have some deodorant or something going on there. They're getting offensive. Anytime I step into the chat room now, whoa, I can smell them. They're wafting. So it's Bill 13's in there. We've got the hilarious Nacy. Bam is hanging out in the chat room. All One. The Wu-Tang Man with his very colourful Pepe the Frog. Indeed. We've got our good friend Carol is in there. Think for yourself. Perfect advice and a good name. And last but not least, in the TFR Wookiee Cave, as it is on a Friday, we have got Justin Goodearth. And again, possibly the best name I've heard for some kind of motivational speaker, some new age guru.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The name's Goodearth. Justin Goodearth. Yes,
Justin
indeed.
Goodearth.
So what is
I
happening?
can almost see it too. Like now, if you want me to be like stereotypical or anything like that, then you could also say that I am Justin Goodearth, and like you have a feather come up.
Now we were talking about Colorado a moment ago, right? What could be a radio / simulcast / Kev Baker show first coming up at one point next week. Spooky Andy is in the chat room. Spooky Andy, he's our toe into the technological world of geekery and high technology. But he's from Colorado, and he's been telling me off air that he wants to come on, and we're going to get into some of the strangeness around Colorado, guys. But the thing is, Andy's going to try and appear on the Kev Baker show in virtual form. Yes, we're going to try and pipe in his virtual avatar while he wears his Oculus or whatever he wears, and he's going to do the interview in VR,
that's
Scotty.
Cool.
That is pretty awesome. I like that. So are we going to be the first? Are you going to be the first podcast to interview a virtual avatar?
Even if I'm not, can we just say it until somebody pulls me up for it? I want to be the first at something, right?
We could, right? So
I
let's
can't
let's
think of
be
any
the
third-
first.
done it.
Let's be the first woo-filled individuals to talk about some people that damn near brought destruction upon us. So we talk about coronavirus and everything else, and I'll tell you what. We often say, Kev, that the big disasters are the ones that come where we're not looking.
Yep.
Every time, right?
Yep.
Every time.
Yep.
Colorado sun. I think I just gave this to you.
Yep.
Okay, so you got it right there. Colorado sun. Air Force discloses drug investigation into nuclear missile guards in Colorado and 2 other states. There's some crazy stuff, guys, going on in Colorado. I don't know what's going on.
Think about this as well, right? Think of this as well. You see, this is where human error can come in. No matter how safe a facility is, no matter whether it's nuclear, biological, chemical, you're dealing with humans in the end of the day, and mistakes can happen, right?
Now, this is crazy, crazy stuff. Listen to this. Security guards at an Air Force base responsible for protecting strategic nuclear missiles in 3 states are under investigation for alleged marijuana use, which, okay, no biggie there. But they're part of the same security force whose members were caught using LSD 4 years ago. They were tripping balls and in control of the intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Yeah, no. I can see maybe smoking.
You don't really feel like mutually assured destruction smoking. That doesn't happen.
I don't think dropping some acid and then
no
killer
bad.
Yeah, not a very responsible move.
This story is crazy. Listen to this. Officials declined to disclose the number under investigation or provide other details, but they said General Tim Ray, the top general in charge of Air Force nuclear weapons, flew to F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Cheyenne, Wyoming to hold a no-notice meeting Monday to address the reported misbehavior by members of the 90th Security Forces Group. Those under investigation have been removed from their duties until the probe is completed, the Air Force said. The 90th Security Forces Group is responsible for security at F.E. Warren, as well as the network of nuclear-armed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles, a key segment of the U.S. nuclear force in underground launch silos in western Nebraska, southeastern Wyoming, and northeastern Colorado. Now, this is the same F.E. Warren security group in which investigators uncovered and cracked a drug ring in 2016. Records obtained by the AP in 2018 showed the airmen had bought and distributed and used LSD and other mind-altering drugs, as well as marijuana. I love how they throw that in there when it doesn't do anything. That ring operated undetected for 14 months. 14 airmen eventually were disciplined, of which 6 were convicted of LSD use or distribution. Now, the Air Force also operates Minuteman III missile bases in Montana and North Dakota. Now, those 2 bases, plus F.E. Warren in Wyoming, had been under scrutiny in recent years for numerous episodes of misconduct, including a cheating scandal and training failures. The Air Force has taken steps to address those problems, including investing in more training and equipment and launching a campaign to emphasize the importance of the work done by the relatively obscure nuclear force. Now, marijuana may be consumed legally in some states, but not in any branch of the U.S. military. So in a statement Monday, the Air Force Global Strike Command quoted Ray as saying, quote, "The majority of our airmen are exceptional and have made significant gains in ensuring excellence and adhering to exacting standards," he added. "But we will not give up 1 inch of this hard-earned ground. When any of us see those not living up to our high standards, we will hold them accountable using all of the disciplinary tools available under the military justice system."
Yeah, don't take too kindly to illegal substances in any military. Maybe does Jamaica
But
have
hey,
an
you know
army?
what, dude? I would have an issue I have issue with people dropping acid and being in control of 3 states worth of nuclear missile silos. God knows where they're pointed.
That's their whole personal responsibility.
You have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, and that is
it was a drug ring to boot. We're talking like they're all doing it.
This
and it wasn't
so
their
crazy.
first time around.
What is the deal with nuclear missile silos and LSD?
Kind of boring, I guess. That's what I'm guessing.
No, look at you. Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they're unrelated, but are they unrelated? Because I dropped a story here in the chat, and I had told this story before, but
I remember you doing this. Yeah,
I've got to bring it up because at one point, pretty much all of the world's LSD was being produced out of a Cold War era missile silo here in Kansas, over by Wamego, Kansas. And it's just crazy. And I mean, I can kind of go through this article a little bit because it's actually a really fascinating story. And if any of you out there, there's actually a documentary about William Leonard Pickard, because he was a professor, chemistry professor, I believe. So obviously, he pulled a Walter White kind of out there at this missile silo. But it says, once home to the most prolific LSD manufacturer in the United States, William Leonard Pickard, the unremarkable concrete exterior of this former Cold War era Atlas E missile silo belies the patent strangeness of the site's history. Originally installed by the Air Force as part of a missile defense system in the Topeka area in 1961, the site was only operational until 1965, when it was decommissioned and ultimately abandoned. Following 3 decades of decay, the building was purchased by Gordon Todd Skinner, a young psychedelic drug enthusiast with a massive inherited fortune. So you got a guy who's into LSD. He's got a lot of money.
Rich to boot.
Rich to boot. So he buys it, and he says, who converted the mostly underground structure into a kind of hidden palace, complete with luxurious hot tubs and baths and furnished with imported marble. Skinner had ties to an LSD manufacturer operating out of California named William Leonard Pickard, who eventually decided to move his operation to the Wamego silo and work together with Skinner. Although the site operated as a drug manufacturing facility for only a short time, the DEA estimates that Pickard and Skinner produced up to 90% of the LSD circulating in the United States during the latter half of the 90s.
Dang.
In addition, and it says, in addition, Skinner, a self-taught chemist and pharmacologist, is also known to have synthesized other psychedelic drugs, such as synthetic mescaline. And it says, by 2000, Skinner had become paranoid of being caught in his illicit activities and began working as an informer for the DEA. Womp, womp, womp. This led to the arrest and eventual imprisonment.
They always flip. Someone always sings.
Yep.
It led to the imprisonment of Pickard and his lab partner Clyde Apperson, as well as a major dearth of LSD in street drug markets that would last for years. Skinner later left Wamego and was eventually convicted of kidnapping, assaulting, torturing, and forcibly dosing a number of victims, including his former girlfriend Crystal Cole, as well as several minors, with dangerously large amounts of various psychedelic and dissociative drugs. Yeah, because he was also kind of running a little bit of a from what I heard, he was running a little bit of a cult kind of down there in the silo as well. So, yeah, but this was like a big thing back in the 90s. Like, when
that's really something. Wow, look at that. Now it's like a museum almost.
Yeah, and when I was in high school, like, people were talking about the silo, like, before it was even raided and before these guys were even arrested or whatever. There was always rumors of the silo that had been floating around. And I just thought I'd bring this up because it's very interesting that we have this story of these guards at these missile facilities that have nuclear weapons. They're dropping LSD, and then you had LSD being produced out of a silo. And
you see, imagine hypothetically, you had I don't know, a biosafety level 4 lab somewhere. You had a couple of people dabbling with a little bit of tripping here, a little bit of tripping there, Joe. Fingers go here, fingers go there. I don't think the standards of the Bio 4 safety lab would really kind of hold up to much, you know, mid-trip. It's just an interesting thought on how things maybe can go wrong in biolabs as well as nuclear silos, right?
Yeah, well, it also goes to show you just how fragile we are. You know, it's like, and we're screwing around with this stuff. This is bad. It's very bad.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't go drinking and driving. Doesn't mean you should ban alcohol, right? But you there should be.
I think we should ban cars, Scott. Cars
Yeah,
end up killing so many people every year. We should just ban the car. We should ban that.
So, you know, not a good idea getting in the car when you're drunk. Probably not a good idea guarding the missile silo with a nuclear warhead while you're.
Is that the break?
It is the break.
Dang, folks. One segment down, 5 to go. Don't go anywhere. The Woo Crew will be back with you after these short messages. Don't go anywhere. There we go. And we're still with our amazing YouTube audience. And folks,
yes.
I obviously can't give the YouTube chat room a shout out with the TFR chat room. I would love to, but it'd be far too time consuming. And because Freaky Friday, the home is Truth Frequency Radio, I just want to make sure you all know, though, that we absolutely appreciate all of you here on the YouTube side of things as well. iHeartRadio, so many different ways to listen, but each and every one of you equally welcome, and we love it because we feed off that energy, that buzz that goes on in the chat, you know. And Spooky Andy's out there. We got Kazzy, the Jack, we've got the Bearded Traveller, a fellow Scotsman. We've got ZX81, who's turned into some kind of Tourette's mode. He's just shouting mushrooms randomly. Yeah, there's all sorts going on in the chat room over there. And now I'm really confused because Scott and Joe switched places. And Joe's now called Scott.
I saw it glitch out. And we switched.
Yep.
Oh, now I'm going to have to get really confused. Really confused. I'm easily confused, Scott. I was looking down there for you, now I've got to look over there for you, and Now, Scott, Spooky Andy says he might need your expertise over the weekend to help him get the virtual reality running through OBS and pipe that through into Skype. We'll try and sort something, right?
We can try to get something worked out. I'm sure.
Cupcake Paper. Brilliant name. Brilliant comment. Yeah.
Kev, this is not for acid. Just Bruce.
I thought Brian had censored that there. I thought Brian had caught on when you were talking about nefarious substances, but no. And yeah, thank you very much, Cupcake Paper. Now, I'll try and go over all the super chats again at the end. You know, just an extra thank you.
No, Kev. The military is not very fond of illicit drug use unless they give it to you.
Yeah, unless it's during basic training when you've got both arms, sleeves are up, and there's like a steady stream of people sticking things into you, and they're telling you it's all to make you good. And yeah, I think back to that time, and I happily done it as well. I was proud as punch.
Wasn't one of their things they were researching like spraying the front lines of like Vietnam with LSD so that the enemy would freak out? You know,
I'm sure they did at some point in time. I know they did extensive testing. They just had that movie come out about that guy that they did. What was the name of that? What was the name of that movie with the guy that did the LSD?
Is that the one where he got flying out the window of the hotel?
Flying out the window, yeah.
Frank somebody?
Frank something, yeah.
Yes,
oh,
I think
I'm just surprised nobody has made a movie about the Kansas.
But it was pretty prevalent. I mean, and when these people did it, they were like taking a glass full of this stuff. I mean, you're not talking about drops. They were dosing them hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was Frank something. I can't remember. And it was basically a true story of this. Frank Olsen.
That's it. Well done.
Yes.
Well done. That's on Netflix,
Yeah.
folks. I can't remember the name of it, but it's on Netflix, and that's a really
it's
interesting story.
Fascinating documentary.
Here we go, folks.
And-
Here we go. Here we go. We're going back. You got the Wookiee?
Okay.
Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Did he come through?
There you go. You can have my really backward Wookiee. He's a bit sleepy, my Wookiee, but we'll get it. We'll get it.
My Wookiee must already be. He must already be partying or something.
He's utterly disgusted at the fact we're sharing airtime with Joseph Sniffleupagus tonight. That's what it is.
I noticed that there's some sort of like disco ball activity going on behind you, Scott.
Corona's dancing. It's the dance of death.
Seriously?
Seriously. It's behind me. It's creeping up on me. Death is creeping.
So, listen, are we going back to the Wu flu? Because I know you've got lots of links about the Wu flu, Joe.
There is a ton of stuff on the Wu flu. Let's start with South Korea.
Well, hang on. Can we start with Italy first? Because South Korea is a stone's throw from China, and I think it's kind of inevitable we're going to see this kind of uptick in the numbers there. But I was blown away earlier on today when you informed me that there are 10, that's not 9, not 11, but 10 Italian villages / towns on lockdown. We're not talking about Wuhan. We're talking about Europe. We're talking about Italy.
That's right. This is 10 towns in Italy that are in lockdown over coronavirus fears. So this is the American Free Press out of Rome. They say authorities in northern Italy on Friday ordered the closure of schools, bars, and other public spaces in 10 towns following a flurry of new coronavirus cases. Just out of the blue, 5 doctors and 10 other people tested positive for the virus in Lombardy after apparently frequenting the same bar and group of friends with 2 other cases in Veneto, authorities said at a press conference. Over 50,000 people have been asked to stay at home in the areas concerned, while all public activities such as carnival celebrations, church masses, and sporting events have been banned for up to a week. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte said everything is under control and stressed the government was maintaining an extremely high level of precaution.
Isn't that the scary?
I have never seen him do anything like this for the common cold.
Isn't that as scary as the corona itself? Listening to a government saying it's okay, folks. We've got your back.
Here.
Isn't that what they always say?
Go back to sleep.
Under control. Everything's under control. Everything's fine. Everything's hunky dory. Just we're kind of putting everyone on lockdown because
it's really crazy. So it says here, streets and towns were deserted with only a few people seen abroad, and signs showed public spaces closed. And Castel Pusterlengo, a large electronic message board outside the town hall, read, "Coronavirus. The population is invited to remain indoors as a precaution." The first town to be shuttered was Cadagno, with a population of 15,000, where 3 people tested positive for the virus, including a 38-year-old man and his wife, who's 8 months pregnant. 3 others there have tested positive to a first novel coronavirus test and are waiting definitive results. The Cadagno mayor, Francesco Passerini, said the news of the cases has sparked alarm throughout the town south of Milan. The 38-year-old who works for Unilever
How'd you say that, Joe? How'd you say that again? How'd you say that place beginning with M?
Milan.
Oh, I like how Americans say Milan. I like that. You've got that Milan.
Milan.
Milan. I like
that. Not Milan. It's not Milan.
It's AC Milan, Inter Milan. It's not Milan.
What the hell is it, Milan? It's not Milan.
The same as Glasgow is not Glasgow. I know Glasgow finishes the same as Moscow, and you say Moscow, I get it. It looks like a cow, a goat,
You
but
said
it's glow.
tonight,
You see, can you imagine saying glow? When you say the word glow, do you say the word glow or glow?
I say glow.
No, I don't think you do. But, so, Glasgow to Glasgow. I don't know where I live sometimes.
Yes.
Sorry,
was
I
it?
derailed you. Sorry.
The 38-year-old who works for Unilever in Lodi
Potatoes and potatoes.
was in serious condition in intensive care. Extremely worried. He had dined earlier this month with a man who had visited China in January and had later shown flu-like symptoms, but has since tested negative for the virus. A football friend of his, the son of a bar owner in Codogno, has also tested positive. All three were regulars at this bar.
I would have to imagine that there's more people than 3 then, Joe. If that was lying on the bar, if it was on a surface,
think about this too, though. Think about this. Not only that, but of the incubation period that actually does exist, and how long have they been exposing others to it? So that's why I think this is out of control immediately as soon as it gets out. How do you stop?
Look at Washington State, dude. There's over 700 people there being told to stay home, and only 26
Yeah, but it's already too late.
Yeah, but
It's already too late.
That's my point. They've tested 26 people. They refuse to test the other ones because they don't want the numbers showing up, man.
Right.
Just stay at home. You're okay. Don't worry about
There you
it.
go.
This was the issue from the get-go, right? Once we found out that, well, now that we know that the incubation period is even longer than 14 days, that it's more
That's
like
what makes it so scary.
But even with a 14-day incubation period,
It's still, that's still bad. But damn.
Because people were asymptomatic during the entire incubation period, and so that completely it throws everything into chaos, because there's no way that you can verify that somebody has it, without like forcibly doing a blood draw or something on them, right? Because there's no way they're not showing any symptoms. There's no fever. There's no coughing. There's no sniffles. And I think the studio just dropped out. But
oh, hang on, we'll try and add that back in.
Yes, but
well, hang on now. What's happening there now? That's mega weirdness.
Interesting.
No? Okay, you keep going, Scott. I'll try and fix this on the back end.
But yeah, Joe, I mean that's been the problem. And so when it does manage to get out, then it becomes a huge problem. It's like you said, it's out of control as soon as it gets out, because there's no way for them to contain it. There really is.
Don't get vaccines. Take colloidal silver.
That's right. Take your nano silver today. Buy your Kev Baker special colloidal silver.
I don't have colloidal silver.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna try and connect the network again. We'll try and get back to the studio.
Definitely do all you can to boost your immune system, like mega dose vitamin C, take your zinc, all of that good stuff. Silver, eat a bunch of garlic. Got to be proactive and start boosting the immune system beforehand. And it's just a good practice to do in general. Not just because we have coronavirus out here. We've got so many different weird sicknesses and illnesses going around besides coronavirus. I mean, coronavirus is just the worst of it, but we've had that mystery upper respiratory stuff going around the US that we've had going around for quite a few years, and that's taken its toll on the elderly and extremely young children and stuff like that. So we got all kinds of stuff out there that's mutating and messing with people. So it's just good practice in general to try to keep your immune system boosted up.
Now, I'm trying to find you guys again. Ah, right, wait a minute. I might be able to get you back now. There you are. You are back now, I think. Almost. There we go. You are back now. There you are.
Hey,
Now,
there we go.
I'm going to try and get the network again. Our good friend Brent Thomas is working on that to get us back on the network. And, of course, don't forget, Brent will be on with his own live show, The Paranormal Portal, right after Freaky Friday. So don't go anywhere after this show. So, yes.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So what do they plan on? What are they plan on doing over here in Italy, Joe? I mean, are they still? They still trying to tell these? But they're gonna have to be on lockdown for a week or something like that.
It looks to be a little more complicated than that. It says here, some 250 people were being placed in isolation after coming into contact with new cases, according to the Lombardy region, and 60 workers at Unilever have been tested for the virus. Traynard Regional Railway and its trains would no longer be stopping in 3 stations in the affected area. The head of Veneto, of the Veneto region, Luca Zaya, and a 78 and 67-year-old from the village of Eugenio, at the foot of the Eugenian Hills near Padua, had tested positive. He said a sanitary ring would be created around the village where public spaces would be closed. 3 other cases of the virus in Italy are being treated in isolation at the Spallanzani Institute in Rome. The outbreak of the so-called COVID-19 illness, which began in December, has killed more than 2,200 people and infected more than 75,500 in China. Over 1,150 have been infected, and 8 have died across 26 countries, according to the WHO.
Wow.
I
so
mean,
that's the Italian, right?
You know what worries me?
What's that?
The kind of new thing that we're seeing happening is, say you've got the sniffles, Joe, right? Say it's your typical sniffles like we talk about, or your seasonal flu comes along and you get a little dose of it, and the immune system being the way it is, you know, like a firewall. Once it sees it, once it's dealt with it, it makes a patch. You become immune, right? You can't catch that same sniffle twice. Well, now there's numerous reports in the Asian media, and I've seen a number of people talking about this, but people that have been on the recovered list. Remember, Scott, we used to talk about the people that would come out either the door to go home or the door to go not home. Well, the ones that are coming out the door to go home, that's fine. And they're going back about their business. Only 10 days later, they're dropping down again. And it seems to be even worse when it comes second time round. It's almost as if it's like in phases. It's like a double bubble, you know? You get rid of the first whack, your immune system's been weakened, and then this other bit of it activates. You know, it's like, usually now you would think, well, people have got an immunity to it, you'd build that up, you might even take some of their bloods, get the antibodies, put that into a vaccine or something, but it's not happening, Scott.
Are we going to have to start maybe throwing around the B word? Binary?
Well, I've always been led to believe the binary thing would be like one and then add another to it. But by the sounds of it, this is the one thing. It's the one strand of that RNA. It's the same virus DNA that's doing both things. So it's almost like it's multi-layered, like it's stacked. If that even is a thing.
Yeah.
If that's even a thing.
Like, yeah, no, I know what you're saying, because it's like a weird hybrid sort of situation. So it's, like you said, it's like a kind of like a
cocktail. A cocktail.
A stacked program where one part of it runs through, and then it initiates
bioweapon.
It initiates the second phase something like that.
Does that technically class as a binary, Joe? I mean, I've always thought of a binary as being like, say, you get something and then something else comes along to activate it.
Well, maybe it does classify as a binary, because you're talking about like a multi-stage system, basically.
Right. And basically
So
what happens is, so the first time you get this, it strips away your antibodies so that the next time you get the common cold, poof, gonzo.
Okay, folks,
You're
give me
done.
2. There we go. We are back on Truth Frequency
What is going
Radio.
on with this guy? What's going on, man? Why are we going up and down and all?
Yep, we're good. We're back on, I think. Yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. I'm sorry about that, folks. Obviously, a bit of a maybe the internet connection has a sniffleophagus syndrome. It just kind of it blinks out. Maybe 10 minutes from now it'll blink out
So
again.
what are you saying, Kev? Are you saying that you have the hamsters tonight?
No, I don't have the hamsters, Joe. Now, how did that happen? What on earth's name? There we go.
What are you doing to us, dude? Oh God,
Joe's turned into a Nephilim. He got Nephilimed this time.
There we go. 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 We're back. It's because I'm trying to do 17 different things at once. I apologize to everyone. I know. But we're back. We're good now. Big shout out to Brent and Lucky for taking care of the back end. Not my back end personally, but the back end of the network thing. It's all coming out a bit wrong now. But yeah. So what other sniffleophagus updates do we have? South Korea, Joe, you mentioned that, right?
Oh, let's see here.
I've got it. It's okay. I've got it. I'll send you. There you go. Dude.
I got it right here.
There
South
we go.
Korea becomes the newest front in shifting virus outbreaks. So now that China has apparently, we got it under control. I don't think so. Now all of a sudden, South Korea is seeing a massive escalation in cases here. It says here, cases of a new virus swelled Friday in South Korea, making the country the newest front in a widening global outbreak centered in China and now reverberating elsewhere. South Korea said 2 people have died and 204 have been infected with the virus, quadruple the number of cases it had 2 days earlier. So they're seeing that exponential growth almost, which isn't good.
Yep.
When you start talking about the spread of this stuff, that means that there's been a lot of exposure prior to them even knowing. And that's the problem with these illnesses that have such long incubation periods. That first 24 days or so, that first wave of people are exposing people to it, that all that time, it's just game on. Nobody knows. I mean, unless it was an intentional or accidental release that they knew about but didn't say anything. You know?
Yeah.
Which I would wager to say it's probably something more like that. I can't imagine they would do this on purpose.
It doesn't make sense
You know
to
what I
me,
mean?
but that doesn't
It makes
mean...
no sense.
Maybe the double bluff is to do it so it wouldn't make sense. We'll put it so close to our own lab that people will think that's too ridiculous. They wouldn't do that. But I'm with you. I've tried to game it out. I've said that, and I don't see any.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I think we can all agree here, at least amongst me, you, and Joe, and I think Popeye as well, that this looks like an accidental release that they just tried to hush up and cover up for a while.
Them, Britain, US, Canada, as we've come to find out, France, Germany, probably Australia, we're all making bloody weapons that can wipe out mankind. You know, maybe we need to get a handle on that first, and then we wouldn't have to worry about mistakes happening or things like that, you know?
This could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
It just happened to happen in China. You know, I mean, this could have easily happened in the United States. You know, this could have easily happened in the UK or any other country that's playing around with this crap because, like you guys said earlier, we're dealing with human error. We're dealing with the complete randomness of humanity, and we're dealing with Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, no
Boy,
matter
ain't
how.
that the truth.
Yeah, no matter how much you plan for it,
Right.
no matter how much you think you have things under control, the chaos and the randomness of the universe will kick in at some point.
It just
And
goes
things
to show
will go-
you that you're right. We don't control spit. We may think we do. It's an illusion. It really, truly is. It's an illusion indeed. Listen to this. So, as South Korea battles this multiplying caseload, it's kind of showing, and this is a good illustration of just how fast this thing can spread. And it says here, initial infections were linked to China, but now new cases in South Korea and Iran, where there have been 4 deaths, don't show a clear connection to travel there.
You know, that was the weird thing with Iran. They reported 4 cases and 4 fatalities.
Whoa! Wait, so there were cases in Iran, and it pretty much hammered them 100%.
Yeah.
So could you imagine then if this thing was like chemtrail? How would you know if it was or wasn't? How
So
could
it's
you?
been
This is
confirmed-
my point. So if let's just say, for example, that they were sprayed, who could say for a fact that that didn't happen? You know what I mean? It's
You can't say
Can't-
for a fact
you
that
can't
it
say
didn't.
for
because
a
we
fact
go
it
to
didn't.
work each day, we go through and about our lives each day, knowing full well that any day we go out there, it could be the end for us. They
And-
could just
And I'm not being racist, okay? Before the woke brigade have a go, you idiots. But you look at any Chinese industrial city, and they call Wuhan like the New York of China and things, technologically advanced, 5G, all the rest of it. These cities are covered in smog and fog on a daily basis.
Sure, of course.
So you would never know the difference. And that's not me saying that that's how they done it,
No,
but you would never know.
but we don't know what that trigger is. We don't know what it's triggering, but we do know that they possess the capability to deliver something like this, and we could all have that in us right now, just waiting for a trigger.
Well, exactly. And look, here's the thing, right? You know, we used to always talk about the Kim flu, right? Because it always seemed like people seemed to get sick after heavy chemtrailing. You know, that was a real phenomena that people noticed, right? And even I, over the past, was it 10 years? I think it was like maybe 4 years ago, something like that. I had gotten sick so bad, like it was the worst that I had gotten sick since I could ever remember. You know, like since I was a little kid or something. And I just remember that before I had gotten sick, it was all that weird upper respiratory stuff that was going around. It was like a day or two before we went out, and it was like heavy chemtrailing. It was some of the worst chemtrailing I had ever seen over, and then I ended up getting sick. Now, I mean, was that the cause of it? I don't know. I just find it very interesting, though, how a lot of people seemed to get sick in the same way after they had been outside and noticed heavy chemtrailing. So, I mean, and we know that the coronavirus is, it can be delivered via aerosol, right? It's airborne. It can survive on droplets, is what they said.
Exactly.
Floating around in the air. Well, what's an aerosol? What do they do when they're spraying? I mean, you're spraying droplets.
Them there small droplets there, Scotty.
Yeah, that'd be utilizing them there small droplets there, Joe. And yeah, so is it possible? Yeah, I would say it's possible. Is that the case? Well, we don't know. But I think all of this stuff has to be on the table, you know, and looked at. We got to look at it from all angles.
You're right there. You're right. Now we're going to have a super chat coming in soon from
Very
a
nice.
YouTuber called Roosevelt. Go and check out Roos. Good stuff on there. And
This virus is good way for governments to forward their sinister agendas. I don't trust many of the stories. Missed you, Kev.
Missed you too. Missed you too. I maybe don't trust some of the stories, but at the same time, I certainly doesn't mean I think this is one of these.
No, I mean, a lot of it is propaganda mill, and it steers you one way or the other, but it's grounded in truth somewhere, you know?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
kind of have to you got to pick all of the nuggets out of it and kind of put the puzzle together. And it
Yeah,
kind
the
of
thing
fits that
is-
picture.
They're using it to push propaganda and stuff like that, but there's also this air of kind of like an oh crap to their reporting as well, because it's a legit thing that's happening.
Oh, you know, you
And I
also
just-
look at the sense of urgency too that these billionaires are trying to get off planet. That's another thing that bothers me is like, look, they're working at breakneck speed to get to Mars. Why? What's wrong with planet Earth that they think that it is of the utmost urgency to get there? And I always keep going around and coming back to something they know that we don't is unfolding, and they know that there is a need to be able to get there and survive something.
Break time. We'll be back after these short messages. Don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening to Freaky Friday on TFRlive.com.
Very nice.
There we go, folks. There we go. There we go. Now, I don't know what happened with the network, but we still kept going here. Yeah. Hopefully,
It's a good
hopefully.
thing I caught it out of the corner of my eye as soon as it dropped out. I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, better
Yeah.
get on that.
Just the other night when I went to go live with Don Wiskin, it was the other way around. It was, for a change, YouTube that's usually like a Rolls Royce on the back end. You click live, it all does it for you. Not this time. Kev was in full panic mode. New first ever paid content on the channel. Everything going wrong, and man, but we got there. We did. And I want to remind everyone that myself, Joe, and Scott, I'm making assumptions here, and maybe the guys ain't available, but we usually do our weekend streams, so I want to see everybody back here over the weekend. And on Sunday, we are going to go hashtag MAMGA.
Very nice.
MAMGA. Making alternative media great again with Popeye. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You like that? You like that, Joe? MAMGA. I think that's brilliant. Not to be mistaken with Manbola, but MAMGA. You like that? You like that? Come on. You like that, right? Scotty likes it. Joe is losing the will to live, but I think that's cool. Hashtag MAMGA. Come on, Scott. We need to reboot this.
It reminds me. What
alternative
was
media.
it? Was it? No. There was a movie. There was a movie, and I think it was Naked. No, it was Dragnet.
Oh,
I think
brilliant film.
Right?
Do you know
And with
Dragnet?
Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
And there was a group, and they had an acronym, and I can't remember what it was, but it was funny. And that's what came to mind when you said that about Popeye's little acronym that he came up with.
No, I came up with that. Don't give him credit for it, dude. I came up with that one.
Oh, that breaks my heart then, because that was going to give me a direct line of fire to bust chops. So thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
I know. I know. I want a big shout out to my good friend Nancy in the chat room. It's good to see you back. Hope you're feeling better. And thank you for reminding me how my own chat room works. I have to remove comments. I'd forgotten. I think I get told this every week, but thank you for having my back again, Nancy. Good to see you back. Hope you're feeling well. Do you think about it, right? Over the past year, guys, how many people have you known that's fallen down with like some kind of bad
There it
lurgy?
is. I see it. Remember, do you remember, Kev, the 1987 film Dragnet?
Joe, it was the first film I ever seen in the movies.
Are you okay? Are you ready for this? What did pagan stand for in Dragnet?
I would be lying if I said. I have no idea. Can't remember. What's it stand for?
It was the cult that called itself pagan, people against goodness and normalcy.
Ah,
Now that's more in line with what I would say Popeye comes.
probably. I've lost the network. Where the hell's the network?
It's all right. Let's just do this YouTube thing.
No, I need to find the network. That's
Where is it?
not good.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. I don't
Run
blooming know.
away! Run away!
Oh, what, man?
Run
It's-
away!
How many tabs can one have open? I've checked that one. Have I checked that one? I must have closed it. Oh my goodness. Vault. We'll get back. We'll get back there. Don't you worry, folks. Don't worry. We're getting there.
Do you want me? Do you want
I've
me to
got it.
add the studio?
I don't know if it's time yet, Scott. Yes,
Just let me know
Here we
when.
go. Here we go. I've got it. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 2 on today's Freaky Friday. It's really freaky. It's really weird. It's really strange. And all of those things come together to make a far better Freaky Friday. And thank you, Joe Joseph. Thank you for becoming the latest member. You just became a member of your stream that you come on to. That's pretty cool, dude. You just want to use the Popeye emojis. That's what it is, right? Right? Look, he's not even saying anything now. Thank you, Joe. Yes, thank you. So, ladies, gents, I was saying during the break to the guys, and we're going to shift gears. We're not going to spend the full night on Woo Flu. Don't worry about that. We'll maybe open up the phones towards the end of the show. Last week, myself and Scott had a blast with that.
Yeah.
I have a blast with that all the time now. I'm Art Bell in training, Scott. I'm telling you, I'm becoming a ninja on the phone lines.
And I've got some good cryptid stuff for later on too. So I mean, we
Very nice.
definitely
Oh,
got.
I was getting into some weird cryptid stuff earlier on today. Unbeknown to me, back in 1976, Loch Ness, there was one of many searches that have taken place. And you guys have heard me talking about Clava cairns, the stone circles made famous by Outlander. Well, I came to learn today, and this is somebody, a local to the area, I came to learn that, now something glitched again, but we're all right. Loch Ness has numerous stone circles 30 feet and 70 feet underwater.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wow.
they call them
What?
they call them Klein Henge. And the reason they call them Klein Henge is because it was an American, and he was sponsored by the New York Post, and it was a Massachusetts Science Institute to do a full-scale search. And what they found was a number of stone circles that they actually theorized dated back to Neolithic times. Obviously, when the water in the loch was far more shallow, or obviously, and how much does this tie in with all the things we've been talking about lately, Scott? Things slipping underwater,
Oh,
land that
man.
comes up
Yeah.
from water.
Crazy. This
Yeah.
is crazy between that and the and then the mud fossil stuff, Kev, you know?
I still need to
Dealing
get
with
there. I still need to get there. I
Yeah.
want to thank Karen Gherkin. She calls herself the Gherkin in the chat room. She sent me through a couple of things on the mud flood, her and her husband. And yeah, thank you for that. I'm diving into that. I've got the Mud Fossil University guy. He's on the list. Yeah. There's a whole lot of weirdness in this world. How much we do know. I thought that I was getting to the point where, you know, I've managed to get rid of all the stuff I did know about the world or thought I knew about the world when I was young. I've got this new understanding, and it's a lot weirder and more wonderful than we're told. But, you know, the further I go down the rabbit hole, the more I think, how much don't we know? And how much has been inserted,
Yeah.
and these cycles. And I was even talking to Joe
I mean,
Scott.
it's crazy, dude.
Yep. There's a
The
100-year
the more
thing.
the more yeah, the more you think you've answered questions, it just opens up like even more. So it's like this exponential curve of rabbit hole. You know,
you
rabbit
think you're
holes that
getting to
open
the
up.
bottom, Scott, right? You think you're getting to the bottom of the rabbit hole, the wee light on your miner's hat. You can see it bouncing off something. You think that's the bottom. No, it's a junction. It's like a crossroads of new
Yes.
rabbit holes. Do you know what
Exactly. Yeah, you're heading down the rabbit hole. You enter this junction, and there's like 7 different directions you could take. And
You know what true
You're like,
wisdom
"Oh."
looks like? You know what true wisdom looks like, boys? It looks like this. I just don't know anything anymore. That's wisdom. When you come to the realization that you might know nothing or anything, I think that's it.
It is, but it's interesting as you become more knowledgeable, as to the way things really are. You really, I think the biggest thing is the surprise, the awe at just how different what we're taught is actually what we come to find out truly exists, or what truly exists in our mind in our journey, because you don't have to believe what I believe or what Scott believes or what Kev believes or what anybody else believes, and that's the biggest thing I think that we need to get over, is attaching our identity to a label or a dogma. So if we just did away with that, we would be able to then form our own opinions, yet respect another's. And in doing so, you do away with all this hatred and everything else. Next thing you know, we're singing Kumbaya, and then all those billionaires can go to Mars thinking that the world's going to end. And then we'll all sing Kumbaya, the world will live, and they'll be stuck on Mars. And we'll be good. I like it. Let's go with it, guys.
I think we should just head to Mars. Why not?
Because I don't want my eyeballs to come out of my sockets and, go... Remember, I saw a Total Recall, dude.
Would that be my Mumga movement, making Mars
Your
great
Mumga
again?
movement, yes.
Mumga.
What the heck is that?
Mumga.
Oh, my God. It is. It's pagan.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Everything's blinking out of existence here on my computer. What's happening? Where are we going now, boys? Where are we going now?
Where you want to go? I got this Plague of Locusts. Would you like to talk more apocalypse, or do you want to go different
we'll
route?
go there, because the other day I brought up the fact that, and I don't know if this is true or not, because I only seen it in the Express, and that's the kind of publication that only carries people like Begley and Third Phase of the Moon and all that kind of dross.
Yeah.
But it was saying that the Plague of Locusts had reached China.
So listen to this. It says here, this is CNBC. Plague of locusts threaten East African economies now as UN sounds the alarm. In recent day, locust swarms have begun to impact South Sudan and Uganda and Tanzania, and have already decimated crops throughout Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. Moody's said the infestation will test existing food storage and fragile Horn of Africa countries and add to inflationary pressures given the high proportion of food in the consumer price index basket. Desert locusts can travel up to 95 miles a day, and 1 square kilometer swarm can devour as much food as 35,000 people in a single day, according to the UN. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's bad stuff. So this is CNBC, right? Now, according to the Daily Star, apocalyptic locust swarm stops traffic as sky turns black in terrifying footage. Do you have that footage,
No,
Cap?
I don't have a link. You didn't give me that link.
Oh, here you go. Let me give it to you.
I'd remember the Daily Star. It's one of our less reputable rags over here.
It's more of a, yes, it's a more of a,
I think you'll find that they're owned by the same company as the Express.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are.
There's only,
But
after all, there is only like 5 companies in the world, Joe.
But if this is true, this is pretty bad. It says this horrifying video shows the sky turning black as a swarm of locusts descend on Bahrain. So, I mean, they truly are crossing the Gulf.
Well, if you go to the Express, Joe, they're all around the Great Pyramid as well, seemingly.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, that is Africa after all.
Yep.
Now, it says here, the apocalyptic scene resulted in people stopping their cars. Now, I have also driven through, like, times where you have things like that. There was frogs down in the Great Dismal Swamp. where it was just like splat, 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 and you just can't. I mean, it's bad. And the same thing goes with the locusts. You have to stop because your wipers can't wipe that stuff away. You know, it's like goo. It's awful. So you have to stop.
Now, we know bats, obviously, are carriers of certain coronas.
Could you imagine if locusts are too? Oh my God.
That's what I'm talking about. And then the other day I was covering a story from
coronavirus.
DARPA. DARPA have actually weaponized cyborg locusts. It's not the name of a rock band. I'm being really serious here.
Yeah,
They've
I mean,
made
that's crazy.
bomb sniffing locusts that they attach a brain chip interface to a locust. It goes and smells with its little sensors, and then that goes to a computer and machine learning. It can detect bombs, Scott. I know people won't believe that, so I will get the link for it.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me in the least that DARPA would decide that they're going to do something absolutely crazy like that.
Yep, there we go. There we go. Military-owned cyborg locusts. Yeah, a great name for a band. An intriguing plot for a movie.
Here's an interesting question, though, right? Here's an interesting thing that has to be brought up. Don't bats feed off of locusts?
No, don't tell me that, dude.
Aren't they like, they feed off of insects, right? And so while maybe the locust itself may not carry the virus, we're going to talk about an explosion in the bat population because now they have an incredibly rich food source.
Here we go. Check this out, boys. Check this out. This comes from china.org.cn. South China may be invaded by the locusts, so it's what I'd seen was right then. The invasion of desert locusts has already thrust millions of Africans into food security crisis and may pose threats to China's southern regions this summer. Yunnan, which is where the cave that they discovered this bat came from.
See, here we go. That's what I'm saying. So if we're gonna go with the story here, let's entertain the story that this virus originated out of that this is just coming from bats. And then we have this locust swarm that decides it's going to incur up into southern China. Well, then you're going to probably see the bat population explode in southern China as well, because those bats will be feeding off of all of the insects, would probably be the locusts. And so you're going to see a boom in bat population as well. And if the virus is being transmitted by bats, then I don't think...
It's all right. It's all right because China have unleashed their fighting ducks to combat the locusts. And this is from the Express.
At least they got a plan.
This is from the Express. How China sent 100,000
Throw
ducks.
ducks at them, and then look at that, dude. They're gonna have like, what's the name of that? What's the name of the duck with the fatty liver? What's the name of the duck with the fatty liver?
Look at those ducks, though. There's ducks on.
Foie de grass or grass fooey grass?
I'm not sure, dude.
Okay, anyway,
it's fooey grass.
They have a duck army. They have a duck army. They're literally standing.
They're gonna all get fatty livers. They're all gonna get fatty livers, and then they're gonna get rich on selling that fooey grass.
That's
duck
well,
sauce.
that puts an end to my sweet and sour duck for the foreseeable until the 2030s. I'm telling you, no more duck for me.
Foie gras, Joe. It's called foie gras.
Yeah, that's it. Foie gras. Thanks.
Yes.
The Americans coming out with your fancy words today, eh?
That there fooey grass. Yeah,
that there foie gras.
Yes, indeed. How many more signs of the apocalypse do you need before it officially becomes like the apocalypse? When does the apocalypse become like near Armageddon time?
Didn't you also say that there was some rivers running red news
wait a minute,
as well?
Wait a minute, yeah, red.
Oh, you do have that.
Red
I thought you were joking.
Tide. Red.
But of course you weren't joking.
No, I've seen it somewhere, dude. I'll find it. Yeah. No, that's a red. No. I'll
Yeah, 'cause
try
I
and
had
find it. I'll
something
try
not
and
too
find it. I'll
long
try and
ago.
find it. Yeah.
Yeah, about a Russian river, and that was a few days ago.
Yeah. Hang on, Russian. Yeah. That rings a bell, dude.
Gotta be
Russian
more than just one
River
Russian river,
Red.
dude. Come on. If it's Russian, it's probably just some sort of corrosion inhibiting compound
It
that
doesn't
they
matter
dump
for a Freaky
10
Friday. That doesn't
billion
matter.
gallons into the water.
When we're adding it to our apocalyptic woo, it doesn't matter. Well, hang on. No, that's a leak. It might have been that actually. It might have
See,
just been a
wine
leak.
spill. That's it. It's a wine
Yeah,
spill.
it might have been. It might have been, dude. It might have been. Damn you, Joe. Damn you. It sounded good. Now I had to kind of.
Hey, but it's still biblical, right? Because
Oh.
you just turned
Oh.
water to wine, and
Oh
yeah.
boy, no.
Hey, go with it, Joe. Go with it. It's free.
Yeah, it is freaky.
Cupcake paper. Yes, indeed.
Kev, talk about the booms and trumpets sounds.
No, I'd done it a couple of days ago, but I haven't spoke about it with the guys. So, just the other day we had a really strange sound up in Anchorage, up in Alaska.
Did we have more of them? There was more?
Yeah. I'll bring it up just now. Now, we had a call. It was our good friend Andy. He had called in. And I must admit, in my mind's eye, when I've thought about these things, Andy talked about the big drilling machines, like the boring machines. You know, the things that just crunch their way through. And if you're going through different types of rock and maybe metals as well, and perhaps that, and you got to remember, right, that noise is going to sound weird because it's all directed back out the tunnel, right? So it's a focused sound. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because there was another video the other day about scientists down in Antarctica that have got far too much time on their hands. And they've been dropping ice blocks down a borehole that they've done. And we'll listen to the noise of that in a minute. But because of the acoustics, because it's been forced back out of a hole, it changes the acoustics totally. And it's weird, right? But this noise here, here we go now. Anchorage. Now, in fact, I'm not going to go for... We'll go for this one first, okay? Let me just pull this up here. 2 seconds, folks. I'll get it. You can see it all right. Let's go on to that.
That is so
Now,
fucking creepy.
that there's okay. That's pretty cool, right? But there's one here where a guy's actually isolated the sounds. It's really better. He's isolated them and taken out the background noise, and you just hear the sounds.
Okay.
But that was just to show you that it does come from somebody's real footage. Now, well, that's a different one. Hang on. I'll go back again. I think it might be that one there then. These sounds are weird. They've been on the go for a while. Here we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, this was literally waking people up out of their bed.
Well, and this is not new.
No.
This has been going on for quite some time, years and years now.
Well, that's the thing.
I was about to say it definitely has that sound that we heard when we had the spate of them all around 2012. I mean,
guys, I mean, look at it. There's an actual website for all of them. We've got 2020 booms, 2020.
It's so damn similar.
Now, at the same time, let's be very, very honest here. We had the original spate around 2010. I remember the first one coming from a block of flats in Sarajevo, over in Serbia or somewhere that neck of the woods. And then we had another few come out. But then, inevitably on the internet, what happens? You get people taking the noises and regurgitating.
That's right.
That doesn't take away from the fact that there's genuinely weird, bizarre noises that some people say feels like it's coming from the ground, but sounds like it's coming from the air. That's
Hey,
pretty weird.
and look, I mean, I have a mystery boom update from here as well. You know, I've experienced them many times, and I think it was last week or maybe the week before. We had another incident of it, and I was asleep when it happened, so I didn't hear it. But my mom, when I woke up, she asked, she's like, "Did you hear that boom earlier in the day?" And I was like, "Nah, you know, it didn't wake me up." And she's like, "Oh, we all heard it." She said it was the loudest one yet. She just sound like you know, just this low rumble of thunder that just sound like it was all around, you know, and just weird.
Okay.
There's definitely something going on.
Check this out. This is what the scientists do down in Antarctica when they're bored. If it plays, if not, I'll get it on I'll find it on their Twitter feed probably. The video's been viewed something like 10 million times, but it's not playing on here for some reason. I'll try and find that. But the noises you hear when that goes down there, it's utterly bizarre.
You know,
it truly is.
you live in an area though where you have a lot of fracking activity too, Scotty, and that could also be contributing to it. If you look out in California,
the thing is that there's not much fracking in northeast Kansas. That's more out in western Kansas and like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But just like California. But
still, I'm sure a lot of that stuff like resonates through the rock bed, you know, the bedrock, and
right, because you guys have a lot of bedrock. You it's not like you have swampland. You know,
No.
it's basically soil bedrock where
Okay,
you're
here we
at.
go.
Now do it.
Now do it.
Uh-huh. Now do it.
Now do it.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like sounds like pew pew pew
That's
pew.
what I said. It sounds like the
Little
people.
laser
It
fire.
sounds like the people in Inner Earth are trying to shoot it with phasers.
Have you ever heard a golf ball bouncing off a frozen lake? You'll have to look that up too. That makes the weirdest noise when you throw a golf ball on a frozen lake. The way
It's
that
almost like it sounds when lake cracks. When the ice cracks, it's like pew 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 pew. Yeah, it's really interesting.
yeah, it's weird the way acoustics work, and there it is. This would be a good one.
Action.
That's pretty weird.
It's aliens! It's a flying saucer! It's a UFO!
Pretty
We're
weird, huh?
all gonna die!
But the reason I bring that up is because if you have got a boring machine that is at the end of a tunnel, then the noise is going to be focused. It's not going to sound like we might think it sounds. It's going to be flying out the other end. Who knows what that sounds like in reality? I think some
Did
of
you
the
see
noises.
what that ice sounded like?
Yeah. So
You would have never guessed that was a piece of ice
No.
falling down.
that sounded
right?
that sounded like something out the Mandalorian, some kind of action scene, you know, but phasers to
Yeah.
fool, you know.
I mean, it's
Jean-Luc
unbelievable. I would have
Picard.
never expected it make that sound.
No.
I still believe a lot of these sounds originate underground, and what is happening is that you're getting some kind of an acoustic wave that actually fluctuates out of off the surface, and it like bounces off the atmosphere.
What about if a tectonic plate? Can a tectonic plate do some movement without it actually being an earthquake?
What if the dark elves and the dwarves are teaming up, and they're going to come out and destroy the humans?
And they're communicating with the Black Knight satellite if we're going to go full woo.
That's right.
Why not?
That's right.
Why not, dude?
And they're opening portals as we speak. Portals to evil.
I've seen somebody bringing up the new Doom game earlier on in the chat room. There's
Yeah.
a lot of CERN and portal technology, symbology and that.
Mhm.
Doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
Doesn't surprise me. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to playing that Doom, the new one.
Me too. Now that you say that, I'm gonna have to go play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Doom has always been steeped in woo, right? I mean, just the entire storyline of Doom is just like they were talking about this crazy stuff way before.
From day one, Doom was inappropriate.
Way before it was cool. Is that what you're going to say, Scott? If they had podcasting back then
It
and
was
they weren't
Doom,
programmers.
Doom and Frankenstein 3D. You know?
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but that franchise is broken. It got woke.
yeah, that was that latest one was. But I mean, look, the entire storyline of Doom, I think, is just totally cool. Like, just crazy because
But
first of all,
it was always
Mars, you know, it has to do with we got the whole Mars thing going on. We've got Phobos Lab, which is named after the moon of Mars, right? And
I think it's based on the life of Randy Kramer, Captain K.
Maybe, man. And I don't know. I know we're about to go to break, but I'll tell the YouTube audience during the break just why I like Doom.
That. You can't do that to our radio listeners, Scott.
Come on.
Okay.
There's the music. There's the music. Now then, we're halfway through Freaky Friday. We've got 3 segments to go, and then we hand off to the #1 paranormal show in the world. Brent Thomas will take you through the paranormal portal. It all happens here on TFRlive.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. There we go, boys. There we go. Yes, so I'm going to take a look at what Doom looks like now. I want to see some of the stuff.
Yeah. Do they got a trailer you can play?
Yeah, probably.
They have to have a trailer.
Yeah. Doom Eternal. There we go.
Yeah, man. It's going to be so awesome.
2 seconds, boys. 2 seconds. I'm getting hailed by my mother. That really creepy, loud, strange noise. My mum had a strange noise up in Inverness a few years ago. That's right. That reminds me. But we'll go and take a look at this just now. Here we go. Get ready for a strike. No problem.
No problem.
Excuse me, but that sounded like the ice hole at the start there.
From HT-155 range in the billions. No! They're killing everyone! They're everywhere! Please help us!
This is humanity's chance to repent.
Wow.
Against all the ether.
Yes, Joe.
I have to play this.
So do I. I'm getting excited already. Not sexually excited.
That hell can
Well.
all the wickedness that mankind can produce. We will send unto them.
Oh, nice there, eh? Definitely has got a bit of a Hindu temple roof
Look at that. That's
CERN crash, the crossing of the beams. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Only you.
Saving your people will not bring you peace. Only make the burden you carry worse.
For millennia we have survived. Made others sacrifice in the name of our prosperity. Who are you, a human, to defy our tradition?
Oh. I think we get the idea now, boys. I think we've seen our portals and things. I mean, I don't want to lose the entire channel for
Why not?
not fair play, not fair using it from Bethesda Softworks. Please subscribe to that channel, folks. I'll drop a link in the description. I'm doing everything I can to try and not get struck for playing that little segment. You know how things go. There you go.
My God.
Connie, no fear here. Fear is the mind killer. No. It's all good woo. And you know what? I suppose some people might see these type of things in a fearful light. You know, be portals, Armageddon time, apocalypse, strange sounds. turn that fear around and just be empowered somehow at the fact that you do know what's going on in the world, even though we don't know what's going on, but at least we're slightly more aware than the average general public, or Joe or Jane Doe, or just don't be scared.
I love Doom. I love Doom. I'm still gushing over this. Doom holds a special place in my heart. When we get back, I'll get into it.
Yeah,
It's just,
I'm just watching the clock. I've got my eye on the clock. I'm monitoring the clock. In fact, I'll let you monitor the clock as well in case I... There we go. There we go. There we go. 3, 2...
And there we go. We are back.
Yes, indeed we are back. Yep. Second half of the show. And my mum has been messaging me furiously during the break. She was reminding me about the noise that she heard in Dingwall. And anyone that knows the UK, and in particular Scotland, wasn't just people in Dingwall that heard that noise. It was heard maybe 13 miles away in Inverness. It was also heard in a little village called Bewley in the Highlands. You could make a triangle out of those 3 locations. Point being, a big portion of the Highlands of Scotland definitely heard one of those noises. A couple of years ago, I think it was now. But it was, it definitely had my mum and my brother and everyone else kind of rushing to me as if I would be the authority. As if I could tell them what was going on. I wish I could.
Why didn't you just tell her the truth?
What, it's the trumpet of the apocalypse?
No.
Godzilla.
At this point, I think we need Godzilla, dude. I do. Or Godzuki. I know some people don't think Godzuki ever existed, but he did. Godzuki was cool.
Or the Kelpie.
Ah, and today, get this, folks. Remember Ken Webb, the Mothman? He used to find that hilarious kind of name for a beastie. Well,
Absolutely.
It turns out back in 1745-ish, if my memory serves me correctly, Battle of Culloden, outside Inverness, right? Bonnie Prince Charlie, the Jacobites getting ready to fight that mob. I know it. English, they're not the same today, but it was like, I think it was George II, his forces. And the night before the battle, a massive flying creature with wings that looked like they were membranous, like a bat's, with glowing red eyes, was seen...
little dragon action.
Was seen by both, like, sides, both teams, or both kind of armies, on the night before the battle. Now, they call it, in Scotland, are you ready? This is far better than any Mothman. They call it the Scree. Ah, the evil Scree that takes to the skies. Yes, there you go. So we've got our own name for a Mothman in Scotland. He's not a Mothman or a Mothman. He's a Scree. Or she's a Scree. Maybe it's a Scree. I don't know what gender they come in.
At least it's a gender-neutral term, Kev. It's a gender-neutral pronoun.
It is. It's very fluid. Very fluid, Scott. Yeah.
Very fluid, very fluid. So, yes.
It's kind of, I was going to say it's vanilla in nature, really.
They were going woke with it before woke was the thing.
Is that what brought down the Jacobites? Did the Jacobites get woke, got slaughtered? Is that what happened to them, man?
Yes. Somebody was like,
Yeah.
"Aye, there's a Mothman out there." And
On the night before the battle, they banned forks and knives and any sharp objects, and the Jacobites were kind of at a loss then,
They were berated for calling it a Mothman because it could have been a Mothman. They dubbed it the Scree, and then the army was slaughtered the day after.
Hey, it's part of our very, very vast, voluptuous kind of history that we have here in Scotland. Like that word voluptuous. I stole that one off of Ben Emlyn Jones when he was on the show. He impressed me with that word when he was talking about the water in Loch Ness is voluptuous. I'm like, wow, I like that.
It is a nice word. It is a very nice word.
And then when I read something later,
in this sense though, because that would mean like with volume, like a
voluptuous,
voluptuous, like
That's cool.
Not equating that to a body of water.
Yeah, I usually hear that word referred to
Yes.
you know, a woman who is appealing on the eyes, very voluptuous. Yeah.
I've
Very
never
nice.
heard
Very
a
good, very
woman
good.
being described as that. Dang, but then again, you do call Glasgow, so I mean, come on.
Yeah, Kev, I too have heard that very nice term. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You're American. You've got
Well,
your
no,
own
I'm Scott
Americanisms.
Lopez. I'm Scott Lopez.
Are you now identifying as Scott Lopez?
I am identifying as Scott Lopez today because
So
I'm woke.
how does it feel?
It feels pretty good, actually.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, you look like a Scotty.
I feel younger. It's great.
You feel all of 37 today.
37. Damn, that's great. I got 7 years back.
You're only as old as the person. You're only as old as the person you feel, Joe. How old's Ange again? Ba-dum-bum-bum. Come on, man. What else we got? Come on, boys. What else we got? We've got lots.
But before we move on, I want to still talk about the Doom thing, right?
By all means.
Just because of how crazy the storyline is and stuff, and Doom holds a special place in my heart because it's like one of the first PC games that I actually like really got into. I mean, my first PC game was Wolfenstein 3D, and that was my uncle had actually put together a computer and stuff for me way back in the day, people, 94, and Wolfenstein 3D was kind of the first game, but when Doom came out, that was groundbreaking stuff, and it blew everyone's mind.
That was like the first time that I was right around the time like Wing Commander 3 was out and everything. And I was like, yeah, all right. It's back when
that was when they could show that computers were like had the edge on graphics and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they were running away with it.
Yeah, compared to because what were people playing back then? Like Super Nintendo and Sega, and then you had
Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis at that time.
Yeah, and then you had an actual like 3-dimensional first-person shoot. Doom just took it to the next level. Took it
to the next level. Yeah, you couldn't. They couldn't duplicate that at that time on the game systems.
No, and the thing is that so then on top of that you had all of the panic around violent video games at the time, because that was the time when Mortal Kombat and all of that was out, and so you had all these politicians and the media just freaking out about violent video games, and Doom was part of that those video games that were being attacked, along with Mortal Kombat, because it had, so gory and it had, satanic imagery in it and all that. When a lot of these people don't even understand what the storyline was. Yeah, there was satanic imagery in it, but you were playing a guy who was fighting demons, going through hell to fight the evil, right? And so obviously you're going to see satanic imagery if you're going through hell to fight,
Exactly.
And
you might see a few things.
Yeah, so it showed the disconnect that like politicians and stuff had, because they just seen like the cover of the box, a little bit of gameplay, and then they knee-jerk reaction based their decisions on that without even realizing that these games actually have a storyline,
right?
So you had that going on too, and all that did was it made kids want to play the game even more. They're like, ooh, it started making it taboo. And so then they did id Software the biggest favor possible by promoting them, on in the media and all of this stuff, with all of this attention around it. But yeah, I mean, the story basically goes, you had the UAC Corporation on Mars. They were experimenting with like opening portals and looking into other dimensions and stuff, and they opened a portal. They found another dimension, but what they didn't realize is we found the dimension where hell lies, that lower dimension. And once they did that, things started pouring out, and it wasn't good. I also think they said that they found some kind of a matter or energy source in the other dimension that they could utilize, and free planet Earth of all of its energy needs and everything like that. And of course, we're dealing with a kind of a scumbag corporation, you know.
Isn't it always the case? You know, isn't it always too good to be true?
Exactly. So they were wanting to extract this energy out of this other realm, but there was some extra baggage that came with it that they kind of lost control of. And so, you know, you had demons and hell kind of just pouring out into our realm. And, you know, then you got to play Doom Guy, which got to run through and just start killing everything. And you had to fight the cyber demon and all that good stuff at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's really, really cool storyline. I mean, it definitely ties in with a lot of the stuff we talked about when it comes to CERN and us playing around with that technology, trying to rip holes in space time. You know, you poke these holes in alternate dimensions or parallel universes and stuff. And do you really understand what's in those other dimensions? You know, Doom could possibly be a cautionary tale, you know, even though it's a game and it's a pretty wild scenario. Yeah, we talk about the D wave and Geordi talking about this 10% of extra resources that comes back. What's that extra 10%? And it's very interesting because, you know, he kind of skirted around that question, you know, when he was on your show, Kev. You know, you asked him about the extra 10%, and it was left somewhat unanswered. And talk about nuclear testing. You know, what does the center of a nuclear blast, what does that do to that point, you know, in space time when you have that amount of energy released? We talk about the increase in UFO activity after we started doing nuclear testing, right? Was that sort of a signal? Did they pick that up and go, oh, what are they doing over there? They're splitting matter and converting it into energy. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff. Those crazy humans. I don't know, man. I don't know, but the more we toy around with this stuff.
Oh, dude, the more it's gonna end in our. It's like you know, the more that you do something, the odds that something's gonna go wrong is gonna steadily increase.
What if the doom scenario actually plays out, right? Like, what if Elon gets to Mars? We start setting up colonies there. We start setting up bases.
Don't be blaming Elon. Come on, man.
I'm not saying Elon is going to be the head of the UAC, Kev. I'm just saying.
Next, you're going to tell me he's a clone and a shapeshifter. Oh, please. Less of that nonsense.
What if we get to Mars? What if we start setting up all these test facilities there? What kind of regulations are they going to have up there? Do they have to follow the same regulations that they do on Earth? Because in their minds, well, the human population isn't going to be at risk for anything we test up here, right? Only the small amount of colonies or scientists that are based up there will face any sort of danger from anything. So you're talking about an area where they could do a lot of testing that they normally probably wouldn't do on Earth. You know what I mean? Because if something goes wrong on the red planet, well, it's already a desolate, dead planet anyways in their mind. So why not? You know, why not play around with some more of these dangerous sort of things on Mars?
I like that. John in the chat room says one day we're going to wake up and the Statue of Liberty is going to be Hillary holding a head if we keep messing around with CERN. I like that. I do like that. Now, is Scott frozen? Am I still online? Are we still here? It looks like I've lost both the guys. Scott's got some kind of crazy look on his face. I hope we're still here. TFR chat room, can you tell me if I'm still here? Please, somebody tell me I'm still here. I'm not on my own. Am I on my own? I might be on my own. If I am on my own, yeah, let's get into it. Guy saying Elon is a DARPA cyborg. Hey, maybe I wasn't there when they created him. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you very, very much, my friend. Yes, I'm still here. Oh, Scott's back now. He's back from glitching out of existence. Yes. Yes, you're back. I thought I was left on my own, Scott.
I hope that wasn't on my end, because that's going to make me really mad if that kind of stuff starts.
It certainly was, because I was still on. I got the all clear from TFR. I'm still good to go. Yeah. It's a glitchy in the Matrix night. It really, really is. Now, when Joe comes back,
Yes.
I really want Joe to get into a story that he was sharing with me before the show. And it's about a really strange kind of end of days kind of cult thing going on. There's been a woman arrested down in Hawaii. There's like $5 million bail. There's people missing. There's a trail of devastation behind them. I don't know enough about it to even touch on it. That's why I'll wait for Joe to come back.
I'm honestly surprised you're not seeing more of these doomsday cults, with all of the stuff going on and all of the information flow. You know, like just the amount of data people are taking in, and the amount of like fear porn that's out there. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen like a larger number of these kind of death cults being at least reported. Maybe it's happening, but
isn't that strange? You're right. It's strange because, you know, these things in the past, it was when we were less connected, that there wasn't this plethora of information that you could go and pore over and scare yourself half to death with. And you bang on, I'd never thought about it, Scott, but yeah, and that doesn't mean they're not there. But I hope to goodness, you know,
you have these cultish kind of things, that these cults that kind of go, I call them e-cults. You know,
they're kind of like the 17th letter of the alphabet springs to mind.
Yes. That they are definitely one of them.
Let's face it, if you told them to drink the Trumpade, they wouldn't even question it. They would just say how much, you know.
But as far as like going to the level of like sacrificing themselves or doing some kind of weird ritual or something, you know, like a la Heaven's Gate. Remember, they thought that the UFO was going to swing by and take them all.
Man.
And
that was when Halley's Comet was about, right?
Yeah, it was when Halley's Comet was going on. And so you had what they do, they castrated themselves and then committed suicide. It was
Dang, dude, that's putting a totally different spin on the Nutcracker, that one. Dang.
Yeah. So, you know, Heaven's Gate was wild, and like I said, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that kind of crazy activity going on, especially in like the post 9/11 world. And like I said, just this 24-hour information flow. I mean, you could easily see how somebody could sit there and go, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. This is the end times, you know.
I think it's a shopping cart. I think we've gone beyond the handbasket, Scott. I think we're talking about some kind of like industrial shopping cart. We're all in it. We're all going to the hell. We're all doomed.
Yeah, so I'm surprised you haven't seen more of these people just coming out and like starting like doomsday cults. And
we are at a weird time though, right? You know, doomsday cults aside, you know, I keep coming back to, I know, but speaking to Joe before the show as well, and he and Ange, that they agree that they're feeling like there's something kind of coming. It's not to say that I'm not saying scary booga end of the world, folks, but I think we're really, you know, we're at the cusp of something, and I don't know what it is. I'd like to.
The Booga End of the World event.
Not End of the World.
It's the magma event. What is it? Mama?
Mamga. Make alternative media great again. But not.
So what did you do? Why is that? Are you trying to signal something? Are you trying to signal the fact that you have magma, but you just switched the G and the M?
No, I was just trying to make a really kind of crappy joke about MAGA, but I thought I'd hijack
you're
it.
part of the you're part of the Killuminati.
All
And
right.
you know the Yellowstone's about to explode, and that's your signal. I get it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Joe. I don't know what you're talking about. No.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got in the grab
Well,
bag.
I was telling people while you were away, you've got a fascinating story that
Oh,
involves.
you mean about the murder of? Oh, not the murder, but the possible, the disappearance of a couple of kids.
But it goes a lot deeper than that, right? I mean.
Well, it's a really weird tale because it. It's a tangled web. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna try and get through it as best I can, but it's not. I don't really have. Oh. Let's just start here. It says here the mother of a missing Idaho kids connected to Arizona, arrested in Hawaii. So Lori Vallow is her name. The mother of 2 missing Idaho kids with connections in Arizona has been arrested by the Kauai Police Department in Hawaii. So right off the bat, you're like, the mother of 2 missing Idaho kids with connections in Arizona has been arrested in Hawaii. What? So you're talking 3 different locations already, and we're just getting started. That's the first sentence. So this is an investigation that's being conducted by the Rexburg Police Department in Idaho. The case, spanning multiple states, has sparked a nationwide interest in a manhunt as Joshua J.J. Vallow, 7 years old, and Tylee Ryan, 17, haven't been seen since late September in Rexburg, Idaho. The Kauai Police Department confirmed Vallow's arrest based on a warrant from Idaho in a statement posted on Twitter and Facebook. Now, Vallow did not comply with a court order to produce her children by January 30th. The 2 children have not been seen since September 23rd. And police said they've been missing, that they were missing in December. So no one's seen hide nor hair of these children since the end of September. The courts tell her to produce the children by January 30th. She doesn't, and instead she flees to Hawaii with her brand new husband, which we'll get into in a second. Now, it says here, Vallow is being held by Kauai police on a $5 million bail. She's been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion and non-supportive dependent children, all charges in Idaho. And Vallow has not been charged in Kauai, according to a statement. So the maximum sentence for a single count of desertion of a child under Idaho law, is 14 years in prison. So their lawsuit alleges that Vallow abandoned her 2 minor children, delayed law enforcement's attempts to locate her children, and encouraged another individual to delay law enforcement's attempt to locate her children, according to the statement. Vallow now awaits an extradition hearing to move her back to Idaho to face charges. The statement made no mention of Vallow's new husband, Chad Daybell, who was confirmed to be with her in Hawaii. The pair has been uncooperative with police during the investigation, searching for the missing children. Vallow and the children lived in Arizona for years before moving to Idaho, and are tied to police investigations in Metro Phoenix into the death of Charles Vallow, her dad, and Alex Cox. Vallow's estranged former husband, Charles Vallow, that's her old husband, was killed in Chandler in July. Charles Vallow, 62, came from Texas to visit Lori Vallow and their children. But after he arrived to pick up his son, Charles and Lori Vallow started arguing. Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, intervened and killed Charles Vallow. Alex Cox then died in December under still murky circumstances.
Ah, yes, indeed. Brian jumping in there. Is he?
We all have awakened and going down the rabbit hole. Doom and cults abound in each. Love you, Kev Joe Scotty chat. Shalom, see you in the hole, heart.
Hey, we will all see each other in the hole. Yes, indeed, my friend. Thank you.
So not only did Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, kill Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, but then Alex Cox, the brother, then dies under mysterious circumstances a few months later, and then she runs off with this new guy, Chad Daybell, and they're part of this Mormon end of the world cult.
Oh.
Yeah, it gets crazier and crazier. So it's like this web of, and I think Daybell, his wife ended up dying. It's crazy.
Doesn't sound like a family you want to be a part of.
No, so they end up killing each other's spouses. Sounds like the brother was involved. And then they kill the brother off. And then they go to Hawaii. Where are the kids?
This almost sounds like the crazy stuff that the Mormon Manson was pulling off.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Yeah.
It's you get these, like, it seems like you get when you're dealing with these families that are engaged in polygamy, right? And you have like 5, 6, 7 wives, and
in this case,
hold that thought, ladies, because we're going to the break. Yes, indeed. 2 hours down, 1 to go right here on your Freaky Friday. And we'll be getting right back into the woo on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Now then, Tori in the chat room, it says, now how in hell's name is this woo? And I agree with you. But just wait, because I'm sure Joe told me at the end of this story, there's a distant cousin that shifts into a werewolf. And no, I mean, this isn't woo, it's just more weird. It's kind of like, it's kind of
weird,
yeah.
because, I mean, look at this. Just now, this lady's getting arrested. And this has been going on before September. There has been no sign of her kids. And in Hawaii, there's no evidence at all, DNA or otherwise, that her kids were ever in Hawaii. Where are they? It's just crazy.
Did they ever exist?
Kev, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know enough. All I know is that there are an awful lot more of these cases springing up. And it may not seem like woo, but to be quite honest with you, it really truly is.
We were talking before the show, weren't we? And yeah, I'll let you lay it out why. It's something bigger.
Well, it seems to me that there is something going on that's making people break. You know, something's going on that.
You're right, Joe, and I attribute this to the rapid deterioration and breakdown of society in the family unit.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's wholeheartedly.
I think that is exactly what's going on, and so when you have that happening, when you have a breakdown of the family unit, and you have a deterioration of society in general, you're going to start seeing more of these instances where you have a lot of these domestic violence cases, I guess you could say, or these incidents where husbands end up killing their wives, or wives end up killing their husbands, or the parents end up killing the children, or something like that. It's because there's so much instability in the family unit now.
Well, not only that, but you have that coupled with the fact that our purchasing power has been destroyed. The dollar has lost all its value.
Yeah.
That you have more Americans struggling now than ever before. And it just...
People are already strained. They're already strained. People are already strained. And
now you throw the money aspect of it on it, it's a killer.
Yeah.
It's a killer.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think is happening. I just think it's a general decline in in society and in the family unit. And like you said, Joe, I mean, financial hardship on top of that, you know, it's rough. And some, you know, people just, they hit a breaking point, and I don't know. But then, you know, you also have to take into account, I mean, there's just a lot of psychos out there as well. You know, there's a lot of crazy people. And
hey, big shout out to my friend Julian out there in the chat room, Lessons for Life. Now, when we go back after the break, sorry, Scott, but just to squeeze it in, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you don't think we're bringing enough woo, I have to listen to you out there, and I think, well, you know, let you have your moment of woo. So I'm going to open up the phones. We'll go back to the network first.
That's fantastic. Let's open up them there.
Last week, Joe, it was really good, Scott, wasn't it? We done it in the third hour, I think. We opened up the phones. Really good stuff. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 3. And we are going to be turning on the phone lines. Yes, indeed. And this is where people can get a good laugh when I start shouting out the numbers. For some reason,
you want me to help you out here?
Why don't you do it, Joe? Yes, you can do it in your professional radio kind of garb.
In the U.S., call in 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. In the UK, dial 44-203-393-2871. That's 44-203-393-2871.
I think you might be worse than me at the numbers, dude. I honestly, come on, man, come on. Right, let me get the phone lines connected here. I need to hide Joe and Scott because I don't want to be giving away the network kind of host-only number on air. I've almost done it before numerous times. Here we go. And don't be listening to the numbers I dial either. Here we go, folks. Are we ready? Are we ready? Boom. Let's connect that. And we will be back on with the phone lines in just a second. Yes, indeed. So if you do want to phone into the show, all you got to do is dial the following numbers like Joe said. If you're in the US, poor folk, all you got to do is dial 213-233-3998 and the phones are filling up already. And if you're in the UK, it's 0044-203-393-2871. We're going all the way to Alberta, Calgary, Canada. Or Calgary, Alberta, Canada, even. Area code 403. You are on Freaky Friday. Who are we talking to? And give us your best.
Hey, Kev, it's Steve from Alberta again. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, brother? I thought when I seen Alberta, it was. But how you doing, brother? How you doing this Freaky Friday?
Not too bad. Hanging in there. I appreciate that.
Good man.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. I had to call again. So I have to ask you, given everything you've learned and all these wonderful discussions you and your friends have you come to any conclusions, given that we're getting all these signs of end times? I mean, do you have any advice for people? Should they be reading the Bible? Do you think it's biblical, or what's your analysis?
I'm going to really be controversial here, and I lost 50 subscribers the other day when I've done this before. You know, I don't tell anyone what to have faith in. But I do think it is a time to be prepared. I think we should always be prepared for anything coming down the pike. I would say to people, whatever brings you strength and whatever you can maybe latch onto or get into, be it the Bible, be it the Quran, be it any of the other kind of religions out there, if that works for you, absolutely go for it. Everyone's different, and that's what I would say to that. And I certainly wouldn't force my belief system or how I approach life on my journey on anyone else, you know? What do you think, guys? I mean, what would your advice be, Scott?
I totally agree. I think it's an individual thing. You can't cookie cutter everybody into one thing, and that's just not how it works. Whatever works for you individually, do it. I spirituality or whatever helps, keep you grounded. I would say that's the way you should go. End times and all of that stuff. I don't know. I can't say that we're heading into that or that we're not heading into that. All I know is that it seems like we're shifting into something like another age, or that's we're entering a phase where it seems like another cycle is going to begin. Does that mean everything is wiped clean and that there's some kind of an apocalyptic event? Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe we're talking about more of a societal shift. Maybe we're talking about more of a, these shifts can occur in different ways, and they can manifest in different ways. And we're not psychics. We can't really foresee what's going on in the future. But I think it's just better. Like Kev said, I think it's a good idea in general to be prepared. They always talked about preppers as being these kind of like crazy people that are out in the woods, or and remember they had the whole prepper show, and they kind of framed that whole mindset as people being crazy, and I think in general it's just good to be prepared. So I mean that's pretty much I'm just echoing kind of Kev's advice on this. Just do whatever you need to do.
Right, Joe, you've got a minute. You've got a minute, because these phone lines are now glowing red. I've never seen it like this before, okay?
Gosh,
it is blowing up.
Yeah, it's blowing up on the back end here. Dang, dude.
Hey, he covered it. We're good.
So, but what would be your quick advice? I mean, Steve there asked about the Bible, things like that. What would you say to people in general?
I mean, all I can say is that in my journey, the Bible's been the most reliable source. But that's my journey. Your journey will take you in other places. But I can tell you that in exploring other avenues, I've always circled on back. And it's been advantageous to explore other avenues because they've only strengthened my faith. So, yeah, faith is central and paramount to surviving anything, not just end times, just in life in general. I mean, it's hard enough. 2020's been a big enough kick in the stones. Here I am thinking 2019, good riddance.
And I remember Eleanor. I remember 2012.
Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah. I wasn't quite as wise to the world and wise to the info as I am now, and I wasted a lot of my time and energy and over worrying about things that never came to fruition. Now that doesn't mean that we should just all kind of go along and ignore what's happening in the world. No, I'm not saying that. But at the same time, you got to find some balance. You still got to be able to live life.
That's right.
And if you find yourself getting fearful from this at any point, turn away. The online world will still be there. Take a couple of days off. Go and do something you enjoy that you used to enjoy. Read a book or something. Do not over-stress yourself, because in the end of the day, that's going to do you more damage perhaps than maybe what does or doesn't come. Does that kind of help you, Steve?
I certainly appreciate hearing your thoughts on the matter. Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And like I said last time, phone in anytime. It's really nice to speak to you, man.
You bet. Take care.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to go quickly to our next caller. Now we're going to limit them to about 5 minutes here, okay? And our next caller is a regular caller. We're going to Kev in Minnesota. And Kev, may I thank you for the message you sent, or somebody sent, from Area 51 the other night. I didn't have time to get back to you, but that was brilliant. Spot on. Thank you, brother.
I cannot confirm or deny that the GEOs may or may not have helped me escape from Area 51, but if I may digress for a moment, happy birth recognition day to you. Happy birth recognition day to you. Happy birth recognition day, Scotty. Happy birth recognition day to you.
Yeah.
And more.
Thank you, Nase. I appreciate it.
It is my honor and a privilege, but it will be what it was. And if we take the opportunity to look what was in our past of his story or history, we will find that civilizations have risen and they have fallen to one extreme to the other extreme. And the one thing that we can agree on, that at one time there was a planet that is now the asteroid belt. So if we are going to take the opportunity to get into our own fear, it doesn't matter if you worship an egg that has to be buried on the second Thursday of the month, and then it will hatch at the full moon, which will produce a lizard that you have to lick at the pre-dawn. If that is what makes you be a positive person, then by all means, lick it.
I agree with you. No, I do agree with you, man. And, you know, Joe, Scotty, Nacy, he phones in all the time. And he often talks to me, you know, about how maybe the moon might have shifted position, things like that. But, Joe, I want to come to you because Nacy doesn't know this. Scott doesn't even know this. He wasn't there at the time. But your other half, Angela, she was talking about, you know, the planets, and you were talking about the planets and how things, you know, used to be very different, you know, and how we had a different way of looking at the planetary bodies and things, Joe. So, you know, quite interesting that Kev brings up this, you know, perhaps the cataclysm that caused the asteroid belt and things.
Yeah.
And I mean, the moon is slowly drifting away from Earth. I mean, that has been proven. It was much closer to Earth in the past than it is now. And eventually it's going to get slingshotted out of orbit, you know, after millions of years or whatever. So the moon is moving. You know, it's not just sitting still. So there definitely, you know, could be something to that.
So, Kev, any final thoughts to leave the audience with before we move on? And I've never seen phone lines like this, folks. I'm sorry to go through them quickly, but Kev, I'll give the floor to you.
Well, as I've told you, and I humbly request that everybody take the opportunity to look at when the moon rose and when the moon set, because as it is today, the moon light was only 9 hours and the moon darkness was 15 hours. And try to explain how that occurs. And my only hypothesis is that the ellipsis of the moon is more like an egg than it is circular. And that means there's something out there in our solar system that is causing what we call gravitational pull or magnetic attraction or repulsion that is changing the orbit of the moon. So the coronavirus, which has to do with the sun, which has to do with the heavens, and even in the Bible it says, look to the heavens for the answers. So thank you for the opportunity. I love you all. Toodles.
Toodles, brother. Yeah. Kev came on a few weeks ago as well, and I tell you, he went through the sun, the corona, the moon. The quality of callers is something else. It truly, truly is. Thank you, Kev. Now then, we're going all the way to the UK. Now, I think this is our friend from Scotland, but it might be our friend Julian. UK, last 3 digits, 596. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Rick. How you doing, Rick? How you doing, Rick? What's happening? What's happening in the world of Rick this Friday? And for people who don't know, Rick was the guy who came on his first call to the show. Joe, he'd been to the Falklands, Royal Marine, I believe. You know, the Falkland War.
Good.
And he brought up the black goo. You know, so what have you got? Yeah, what have you got in your mind tonight, Rick?
Oh well, I've always got that in the back of my mind, man. Bless you, Kev, Joe, and Scott. You're all decent, honourable chaps in my eye, anyway. Right, here we go. You were talking earlier. Sorry, but I'm trying to slow my words down so people can understand, Kev.
Oh, you sound very.
Oh no,
you're,
no accent at all. No accent at all.
you're stealing the show,
Okay.
man. I hate making
Right.
way for somebody with a better
Right.
accent than me.
Right, you were talking earlier about rocks and stuff, and tunnels through the world, etc., etc.
Yep.
I have sent on Facebook. I'm not very technical, but I've put a connection to some tiny little handball-sized stones. They're no larger than a tennis ball, but they're found all over Scotland. I've had them in my physical hand, and
These are the plutonic shapes, aren't they? These are the ones that are the plutonic shapes.
Oh, are these are the stones?
Yeah,
They're like runes almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
yeah.
I had James Swagger.
There is a
Yes.
there is a connection with them, and another point that you chaps raised earlier, with points of interactions. And when you were talking about Loch Ness and all up around that way, there is a place, a lot of your listeners will not know this. They look on a map, they'll find it. And it's a place called Loch Moy, M-O-Y.
Yep.
And in the middle of that loch is a tiny little uninhabited there's a few trees on it, little isle, right? And that is the centre of an international ley line that goes in multi everywhere. So there's a crazy connection there somewhere. And the majority of these tiny little stones, as I mentioned here, are all connected with that in a crazy little way. Because when you look at the morphology of some of these stones in the museums of Edinburgh, etc., they're not exactly found where they came out of the earth.
Pretty weird, isn't it?
Which is yeah.
Now, let me ask you before we need to move on, Rick. And I'm sorry, I need to speed you up tonight.
Yeah, you got to do that.
But earlier on today, I take it you've seen the stream where I was talking about the Stonehenges. What do you make of that? Do you remember that back in '76? My mum doesn't remember it, but it's certainly a new one to me. These stone circles in Loch Ness.
Oh well, I've heard a few things, but that's exactly the what I was talking about. You've got it there. Well done, lad. I'm not sure about the ones in the Great Divide up there.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, it's weird. I mean, I've always known in the loch you don't go walking out any further than waist deep because you come to ledges and you fall off and you go down 100 foot or so. I don't know. It really kind of baffled me when I heard that they had found not one but numerous circles. You know.
Yeah. Here's an odd one for you. I do know for nearly a century, probably still happening. I know when the winds when the royal family has won on a game of cards, Burkall, Queen Victoria's husband won Burkall on a game of cards, and there's a stone there. I used to walk past it for several years, a few miles into the village to get fished and back. And another old marine used to do this. I got witnesses. There's a cusp on top of a standing stone there. The only one left in that part. And it's right next to the road. And in the spring equinox, the moon flew line by line on the neck of the hill and landed on the cusp of the stone. And the line of the hill travelled down like with the moon travelling with it.
Yeah, I've got you.
You'll still see.
I've got you. I mean, that is.
And every other stone and is Sheila Sedgwick. She was a good old friend of mine. She was in SOS in the war. A local historian at the time there. And she explained that these stones, the other stones that were around there, were deliberately dug up.
That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all, Rick. You know, I wonder sometimes when we look at some of these stone monuments, even the more complete ones or completer like Stonehenge, I mean, we get a kind of image of what it was like. We can kind of in our mind's eye kind of like go backwards and see what it would have been like in its glory. But even then, how much of like the surrounding maybe mounds and things, Scott? So over time they've been covered up. And,
That's it. I got my witness, Ian Fraser.
Ian
He
Fraser.
lived in a cottage next to Knox Castle. He was an Oberbeck, and we fell over a fence and stood in front of it. And it was a moony night. So, you know what I mean?
That's pretty amazing, dude. That is. Now, Rick, I'm going to
Well, thank you very much for
brother,
having the time.
Don't you
I was
thank me.
going to talk about more physics stuff, but
Don't you
I think that's enough for me.
Oh, don't you thank me.
Bless you all,
I would keep
and
you
good
on.
luck.
I would keep you on all night, brother. But like I say, these phone lines, Scott, have you ever seen it like this? It's crazy.
No,
I'll say this now because I'm not sure how to get the phone on or not. I'm very untechnical, but I would wish to get in your that thing you got on your
Discord. Discord. Yeah, I'll send you. Yeah, I'll send you.
And support you, but I don't know how to do it.
No problem, brother.
But anyway, bless you all, and let's crack on. Good evening, and Scott and Joe, keep in there, boys. You got a good man with Kev.
Hey, thank you, Rick.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
That guy, I tell you, that was our black goo caller the first time he called in, and every time Rick calls in, it's always on topic, and it's always wow, you know, something new.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I do like how he brought up those stone spheres. Those things were so fascinating. You know?
Yep. Now
I know we got to.
We got time for one more. We got time for one more before the break. I'm going to go to area code 630 in Illinois, I think. Are you there?
Hey there, Kev.
Hey, who am I
Can you hear me,
talking?
Kev?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Who are we talking to, man?
Awesome, man. This is Nico.
Hey, Nico. Nice to meet you.
Birthday, Scotty.
Happy birthday,
thank you.
Scott. Yeah.
I've been watching for about
thank
2
you.
years now.
So what's on your mind then,
Hey,
Nico?
not a problem.
What's on your mind this Freaky Friday, brother?
Honestly, man, I just want to give good vibes to everybody, and I want everybody to have some good health and good knowledge on my guy, Dr. Sebi, and stay healthy, you know, keep the temple where it needs to be in tip-top shape. If we could find anything from the body, you know, we can do what we need to do and just stay healthy.
Dang, dude, I like this positive attitude, Scott.
I do too. I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it, and I've been on the same vibe lately too. Like just trying to keep your body healthy. You know, I've been doing this diet for like almost 2 years. You know, I've lost 160 pounds. You know, and I think that's one of the most important things, man, is to try to keep yourself. Like you said, take care of the temple, man. Keep yourself in good health, and you'll be able to face a lot of this stuff a lot better, you know, from that. So definitely advice, man. Yep.
So Nico,
really hyped that I'm actually on the show, guys. Not gonna lie.
Oh, dude, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to have you here. I love the phones being open. We get to meet so many people now. We've been talking about the cycles and things like that, but I want to ask you, now you just be totally honest. I mean, the times we're living in now, Nico, do you think they are more interesting? There is something going on compared to in the past, maybe 10 years ago? Or do you think maybe because we're getting such an influx of information that maybe we're putting things together and we're maybe getting a skewed version and maybe things aren't quite as bad as sometimes they seem? What do you think?
Honestly, in my humble opinion, I think that we are repeating the past of our predecessors. You know, I think that we're honestly living in the days of past, and, you know, Lord forbid, but I think we're honestly getting to a climax. You know, I think we all can see it, you know, kind of revelations is happening, and we're living in these times. You guys been putting it on the news. The locusts are coming. You know, California's breaking off. Puerto Rico's getting broken off. Hawaii's been having volcanic eruptions. And then that's just on our side of the globe, you know, and we already know what the coronavirus is doing on the other side. So, I mean, let's just stay in good health and good vibes and spread the love. You know what I mean?
I think we all need a dose of Nico, man. That is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. You know, I couldn't agree more. And
so, Nico, let me ask you. We've got 2 minutes, right? What would you say to one of our last callers who was saying, you know, how should we approach these times we live in? What would be your advice? Just keep that positive, upbeat kind of attitude. Keep the temple in order. Is that would that be your advice to people?
Honestly, yes. To leave it on my last note for the callers and the Kev Baker Show, keep your temple as much as you can upbeat. Get on that Dr. Sebi high alkaline diet. Do what you can to be positive and keep your mental as well as your physical body upbeat, and spirituality, and, you know, spread the harmony with the Maharishi effect, you know?
Oh, Nico, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for calling the show, brother. We're going to the break now. The phones are still open. Nico, you're a star, dude.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. Some from Amazon, September 2018.
Okay. I fixed it. I hung up myself on the call this time.
Yes. What the hell are you doing?
I hung up myself. I got rid of it. I got rid of me. I kicked me off the call. Nah, I'm done now. I get so excited when the phones are open, guys. It's brilliant. You don't know what you're getting. Even when the numbers are kind of like, even when Kev comes on, Nacy, phones up all the time. And don't panic, folks. You see bleed through on my fake green screen from time to time. Had people sending pictures, Scott. There was a baby's face appeared above my shoulder the other night. Because it's one of these, like, it's not a green screen, it's like just a green screen effect. And when the TV's on behind me, it must be the way the light hits it, you see the odd face coming through.
Yeah, I noticed that the last time, and it is funny because it does make for some kind of comedic effect sometimes when you get just like a random head that just kind of floats above your shoulder and then it disappears. It's like, whoa.
Is it random or is it really there? And I know the audience have been asking for more of my favourite teenager.
How dare you?
Yeah, there she is. She's still here. I haven't harmed Greta. She's okay. I keep her in the drawer. She's all right. I just pull her out from time to time and...
How dare you?
Oh, Greta, come on, get over it. We're all having fun here. Yes, indeed. And now I have to share screens again. I forgot. Yes, we're back. I'll get the guys sorted so they can see what's going on. You see, boys?
Better now.
I now use a swap places.
Okay, there we go.
So, Joe, this is really your first real taste of a Freaky Friday phone, and you enjoying it, man?
Oh, this is perfect, dude. Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, we usually kind of burn out the last hour anyway. And it descends into craziness, and like Tori in the chat perfectly said it. I mean, we veer away from the woo, so we go to you for the woo.
That's right. And it's working out wonderfully.
Big shout out to Kazi, Aaron, aka Drone, One Polly, John, ZX, Susie and ZX. Your wind's bad down there. It's wild out here. I see Pedro Rojas Cervantes. Oh, brilliant name. Sounds like you should have been in Netflix's Narcos series. Cool name. I see the mammoth in there. Yes, still hunting the big one. There's Lisa Rue, King Sweet, Turbo Lord. Ah, Turbo Lord. That was our last caller, I think. Ah, an amazing caller. Absolutely fantastic. And we've still got 2 callers on the line. When we come back after the break, I think we're going to Julian. I don't know, but it's the UK. And then we have Alamosa. Is that Colorado, Scott? CO, Colorado?
Yep. Alamosa, Colorado.
We're going to get some Colorado woo. I
Ooh,
love
maybe.
it, guys. I'm telling you, this is the way forward. Kev Baker is even thinking about a 3rd hour to the Kev Baker show. I know it would absolutely destroy the network. I don't know how they could fit that in. But now that I've got the phones going, Scott, I mean, I do shows now where it's just phones. It's like awesome. It's so lazy of me.
See, Kev, you're starting to slip into that old Art Bell thing.
Okay,
You know,
it'll work.
now you can see how he could go 4 hours pretty easy in the night.
Dude, I swear, when you've got phones open, you could go all night. I mean, people
you really
just,
could,
yeah.
because it's
not only that. I mean, look, he had, and Art Bell had to deal with network breaks and all of that stuff. So it really, if you think about it,
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment of today's show, and we have got the phone lines open. And Scotty Lopez, Joe, I was telling you during the break there, I love the phones. Kev Baker has got an inkling that maybe I could take on a 3rd hour, and I'm talking about, you know, maybe some weeks on the Kev Baker show there'll be no big name guest. No, well there will, only it'll be you, the listeners. And Scott, you were right? Art Bell, you were talking about how you used to go for hours. When you've got the phones open, I appreciate it now, man. You can do it.
You can. You really can. And like I said, it may have seemed really hard, but now that you've been doing this for a long time and
the quality of listeners,
the quality of the listeners, the quality of the callers, you know, now it's kind of like, oh, I can see how Art Bell would be able to do that consistently on a date basis.
Look at everybody tuning in. Everybody tuning in can hang.
Yep.
Right? In a conversation. We're not. There's nothing special about us. I mean, think about it.
That's the whole point I always try to get across to people when they say, "Oh, I'm so pleased to be talking to you." We're just normal people. Don't let some of these alternative media people or YouTubers make you think that they're anything better than you.
Right.
You know, nobody is better than anyone else. We've all got our good points. We've all got our flaws.
We're just 3 guys sitting in our house, and we have access to the internet.
Yeah,
that's essentially we're not special.
Nobody should be idolized, really.
No,
if you think
no. And look to all of the viewers and listeners out there. You could do the exact same thing. You have that ability yourself as well, you know. And you know, look, we encourage people to start their own podcasts and do their own thing. If you want to get your voice heard, if there's something you want to talk about, get a webcam, start a YouTube channel. It's not that hard. You know, technology is easy to work with these days, and so like I said, we're just 3 guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're going to the UK. Last 3 digits is 028. Welcome to Freaky Friday, my friend. Julian.
Evening, guys.
Julian.
I do it, but not as well as you yet.
How you doing, brother? How you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm good. I'm very good. Well, your caller mentioning Loch Ness reminded me that just across the Irish Sea, you have Loch Ness, which is an even bigger loch, actually, the largest in the British Isles. And it is said that was created when a giant called Finn McCool, who built the Giant's Causeway, grabbed a piece of earth out of the island of Ireland and hurled it across the sea, and that created the Isle of Man.
See, I buy that.
I'm very fascinated about these.
totally buy that.
These mythical stories will have some truth in them. They may not be literally true.
You know what
but
that is?
They
Kev,
explain
there?
something.
Well, this here, Joe, now that like Julian's saying, the legend that goes along with this is there was a giant in Scotland, there was a giant in Ireland, and they were lobbing bricks at each other.
Yeah.
And this is where we get
That's
this
right.
spectacular rock formation
They
from.
were clodding stones at each other.
Yep, exactly. What do you think of this? What do you make of that formation there, guys? I mean, we're looking at the kind of rock formation here, Julian, and what do you make of this, guys? I know you guys don't need convincing on giants, right?
I would take a sample of that and see if it's organic.
Wow.
I would see if that was organic because that looks to me a lot like similar structures that I've seen that are similar to like a cell. You know how the cells? Geez, I'm gonna have to find a video.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Guys, you're looking at the hexagonal rocks, yeah?
Yeah.
The theory is that this is molten lava solidifying, and that creates this kind of beehive looking.
I think it's organic.
Yeah, I don't buy.
You could well be right.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
buy.
not saying that this story is literally true.
Yeah, right. No, I think that's organic.
No, Julian, but we are. Me, Joe, and
Well,
Scott.
I know you are. Well, as you know, I've travelled the world.
Yep.
I was in Peru and I saw the Nazca lines. These images of animals and human figures being depicted that are only visible from hundreds of feet up in the air. They weren't rediscovered until the 20th century when someone flew over it and said, goodness, look at these images. And while we were waiting to go up in the plane, I asked a local, is it true that these were created by aliens? And she said, no, but maybe they were created for aliens. The people down below believed that the gods in the sky would see them, so they created it for the aliens. So maybe this story about Fimbulcool is chicken and the egg, and there could be elements of truth in both, and things can be true in a much deeper way than a literal truth.
Julian, you know what strikes me about when it comes to the Nazca lines? You see the one of the spider there. Now, it's not exactly big on the screen, but for people, you can check this out. Now, if you look at like the bottom right leg of the spider, you'll see it's almost got like a foot that comes out. But when you look at the anatomy of a certain spider in South America, you find that one of its legs is actually like that's almost part of its reproductive system or something, Joe. It's not a mistake. It actually ties in with the anatomy of a certain spider from what I remember hearing on a Coast to Coast at one time. So we also had the AI recently come up with a whole new batch of Nazca lines that people hadn't recognized before. It was given satellite images to look at, and because it looks for patterns, it was able to see things that, you know what, we hadn't even picked out yet. But any last thoughts, Julian? Any last thoughts before we move on to our next caller?
Just it could be tip of the iceberg, Kev, and I love discovering these things, and you've always got your finger on the pulse. I'd read that article, and I'm not surprised that you read it too.
Brother,
have a great evening, everybody.
No, brother,
Happy
before you go, let people know where they can find your YouTube channel. I want to get people subscribed to Julian.
It's Lessons for Life, and that's a number 4, figure 4. Lessons for Life.
And keep up the
You'll
good
see
work,
the NASCAR
brother.
lines on there.
Keep up the good work, man.
Keep up the good work, Julian.
Bless you all.
No,
Thank you so much.
Bless you, brother. Bless you. You see, Joe, I get goosebumps when we're on the phones, man. There's something special about this. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know. I just really thoroughly enjoy this. We're going to Alamosa in Colorado, area code 719. You're on Freaky Friday. Time to get your woo on. Who are we speaking to?
Hey, Kev.
Hey.
It's Rick from Colorado.
Rick, my
What's going on,
friend.
brother?
You are a legend on this show, man. Talk to us. I tell you what, folks, if you're wanting to feel upbeat, before I give it the floor to you, Rick. You know, I want people to know if you're ever feeling down and you want somebody to lift you, you want to hear some positivity, you, my friend, you bring it in barrel loads. Talk to me, man. What's going on this Freaky Friday?
I love life now. You know, I mean, I can't get over how much I was so backwards in all my thinking for 55 years. You know, hey, Joe's here tonight. Joe, right?
Joe.
When we're done, you're gonna have to buy me a wizard hat, Joe. All right.
One wizard hat coming up.
Yeah. Hey, have you tried any cloud bursting for yourself?
I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried it. Now, tell Joe about this, Rick, because I don't think Joe was here for this one.
Joe's not there.
He's here. Joe's here. He's here. Don't worry. Remember, what you're seeing on the screen is like about a light year behind what's going out live. So don't be looking at who's talking.
I watch the screen. I just, I don't know. Joe's not on the phone or what?
Joe's here. Joe, speak.
Right?
Joe is right here. Rick, never fear.
Hello, Joe. I was asking you too, right? I mean, at the end of one of our conversations, you said you were going to give that cloud stuff a try. I'm just wondering if you have, you know.
Remember we were talking about cloud busting one show before, Joe? Do you remember that? Rick phoned in.
Abso-doggone-lutely. The problem is...
I've not tried it.
Well, here's the problem. The problem is it's been cloudy every single day, and it hasn't really relented. So this weekend is supposed to be nice, and I will give it a try.
So you're going to wait for a clear sky day to try and bust a cloud?
No. I'm going to try and bust a cloud when it's not so... When it's got, like, you know, when it's partly cloudy.
Yeah, no, I get you. It sucks when there is no clouds because you got nothing to work with, right? And it sucks when there's too many because you can't just pick one out, you know?
Now, Rick,
what
else? Now, Rick,
right? You got to have the opportunity.
Now, Rick, apart from the cloud busting, what other kind of things do you get up to with this focused intention kind of experiments that you do?
I've led an incredible life, Kevin. I was a nuclear missile crew member, version 2s, right? P1As and P2s. I was there when we converted, and right now I'm into. Actually, I'm building a free energy motor, right? I got into all the 9-based stuff, vortex math, right? Nosine Haramine. When we're looking at the rodent coil,
dude, you're weird. No, whoa! I was going to say, Rick, have you checked out Rodin? And then you go and tell me the Rodin coil.
Rick, you know, I got to get Rick in touch with Johnny King. No. Rodin is so academic. No. You need to talk to Johnny King. Johnny King will set you straight. He's already been down this road and then some. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't you worry, Rick. We'll get you in touch with Johnny King. He'll take care of this one for sure.
So
I don't know what you're talking about here. Johnny King, what is he?
Johnny King.
You got to remember, Joe. You got to remember, Joe. We've got a lot of new listeners, and they might not have heard of Johnny King.
He is a legend in the science community with regards to free energy.
No, he's not.
And doing so from a backyard hook-toed Pennsyltucky kind of way. So he's the guy that could make a free energy device out of a washing machine, and he did. You know, that's he used one of those new. He used one of those new.
Sounds like something I like. That's exactly what I'm doing. I've already done it, really.
See that? You guys are kindred spirits.
I worked with the coils. I built 2 of them myself. It is phenomenal.
Have you built the? Have you built the?
Johnny King, but you know.
Have you built that toroid coil, that rodent coil?
You betcha.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Sequence of the Fibonacci sequence. When we're looking at the center points, the wall thickness, and whatnot, I built it in the Fibonacci sequence.
Nice.
You understand that, Joe?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
I most certainly understand. Yeah.
Johnny King, in all my studies in the last 6 years, I'm sorry, this man doesn't cross my pattern here.
Oh man,
I don't know who you're talking about, and does he know anything? I don't know.
Oh no,
listen, since you're one of my regular callers, Rick, I'm not going to have this Joe Joseph blowing smoke up your tuchus like he always does. Johnny King used to be Joe's co-host, and he is also a self-confessed and self-taught wizard. Now, I'm not making that up. He is an actual wizard.
He's an actual wizard, yeah.
Yeah, so the wizard hat comment is what set Joe on the Johnny King path. But, you know, I think Johnny King would have a good conversation with you because I think it sounds to me like these are both very similar.
Kindred spirits like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, like I said, his name escaped me. I've studied all the greatest: Wilhelm Reich, Victor Schauberger.
What do you make of John? What do you make?
Dan Winters.
Rick, what do you make of John Hutchinson? What do you make of the John Hutchinson? That Hutchinson effect, yeah.
John Hutchinson, he's incredible, right? I mean, we're looking at New Age Nikola Tesla,
yeah,
right? And what he's done with frequency and how he's done, right? He like scavenged the military scrap pile for the stuff he works with. And I think he's an amazing man, you know? And he's like playing like he's a crazy man to get away with staying alive, I guess he's trying to do, right? I subscribed to his channel one time. You don't want to do that. He'll send you feed with all kinds of crazy videos, you know, and we've got another one that's been put to the background. He's another modern day Tesla. That's my opinion of John Hutchinson.
Brother, I must thank you for phoning in, man. Always good to talk to you. I didn't know you were actually getting into building free energy devices. That is super cool. Yeah. So super cool.
Oh, it is. You know, it ties all the things together. All the religions. It's in the background. Sometimes I get annoyed with what's going on in Hollywood because you'll see things in Hollywood, right? Johnny Depp, he wants 216 barrels of rum. That's a sacred number. That has to do with free energy work, right? I've seen the movies The Nine, right? Or Maya, the B movie, Worker Bee 369. This is, you know, they put it in our face. The farther you go into it, the farther they are in your face telling you, yeah, we know about it and we're in control. You know what I'm saying? So it does get frustrating.
Now, before I let you go, that 216 number, that means something to me. Is that the number 6 cubed?
216 is half of the cosmic 432, right? 108, you have it again. It's all of this stuff, and the ancients understood it. The distance between the sun, moon, and earth and their shapes are all built into the Great Pyramid, right? Calming the code, right? It's all been etched into stone by the ancients. When we're looking at the work Naphine Haramine did, right? We're looking at the same stuff. We're just finding it buried in what is our so-called his story, right? Which is we've been conquered. You know, we've been conquered, and we've lost who we are and what our knowledge is. but we're regaining it, you know.
Now,
I think there's positive between.
We had a caller, Nico, earlier
Hello?
on. We had a caller, Nico, and he was talking about how we're not really doing anything new. We're almost repeating stuff that we've done in the past. Would you agree with that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, it's all cyclic, right up. The cosmic 432 runs through everything. Time, what we call solidity, you know, and it's all, the geometries is what puts it all together. It ties all the religions together. You know, it's embedded in everything. And you can't look at the, there's a lot of this like satanic stuff in it. Ooh, 666, right? Well, that's all through the geometries. I'm sorry. From the tetrahedron, if we put a tetrahedron, cut it out of a sphere, we get a ratio of 0.333 is left of the sphere and 0.666 of the tetrahedron. All right?
Wow.
And it runs all the way through it. The carbon atom, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 666. It runs all through what we call, you know, the atom, which is, it's all just holographic fractal light, you know, electromagnetic, being driven by the great energy. What we call God, soul, Reiki, Chi, Kundalini, chakra, the field, unified field, ether, orgone, life energy. I can go on and on with what it's been called.
Brother. Smacking down the truth bomb right at the end of the show. My friend. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't want to say any caller's better than any other caller. You've all been amazing tonight. Honestly, dude.
Oh, man. I mean, it has been a cornucopia
I
of
think you're going
knowledge.
to be famous. Kevin, I think you're going to be famous. I think you're onto something with this call-in, and I love synchronicities that's been going on with Colorado and your show. We're going to go places, brother. We're going to go places. I do believe so.
Dude, I really hope so. I really hope so. And, you know, it's all about intent, right? You see it in the mind's eye. It's going to happen.
That's it.
Rick, I am so glad you called in again. I'm going to let you go now. We're almost at the end of the show. But I'm going to give you the last word to your call. Speak to the audience, man. Give them something to think about.
Speak to the audience. I never had an audience.
You do now. You've got thousands listening to you.
Stay focused, stay positive. You are co-creating beings, you know. We're dimensional beings being tricked. We've been BS with a bunch of belief systems. But I believe in you, brothers and sisters. I love you. I guess that's what I'd say.
And we love you right back, brother. We truly, truly do. Now, I'm going to let you go, Rick, but thank you for phoning in
Rick.
again.
Thanks so much.
Excellent, brothers. Good night, man.
Good.
I'm going to bed.
You go to bed, man. You keep strong, because I want to hear from you lots more. Wow, guys. Wow.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. But wow, guys. You see, look at Joe. He's smiling away there. He's liking this phone thing. Scott's loving the phone thing.
Very good. Good stuff.
I think we might need to incorporate this into our Freaky Fridays from now on. I don't know. I like it. I'm becoming a phone addict, I must admit.
Yeah, you're going to be like Wake Up Britain, like Piers Morgan.
Oh, out of all the people you could have compared me to, like my
well,
arch
now,
nemesis.
you know, he's a Trumpocrat, so he's going to be there for him, and you are too. I get it.
I don't do Trump unless we're playing cards.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, before we go away, over the weekend, I'll be back with the guys. We'll be on YouTube. And there'll be a couple of other streams as well. I've got my members-only stream on Sunday. But I'm also going to be doing a stream with somebody very, very, very cool. I'm finally going to get my good friend Nancy to come on the show. And we're going to...
good. I thought you were talking about a certain someone.
Who? Not Popeye, no.
Oh,
come on, man. Pop, we can give him his ego fill on Sunday, but no, Nancy's going to come on with me. And people have been asking, you know, what should we do with everything going on in the world right now, from Corona to anything that comes at us in the near future. So Nancy is going to come on, and we're going to run through a list of things that we think people may, you know, want to stock up on. Basic prep. We're not doing it because we're saying, you know, ooga booga, doomsday's coming. But I think with all the talk that we've been doing lately, I think it would be a really good time for us to, you know, put that list together for people who are interested. So keep your eyes open for that over the weekend. I'm just super excited because me and Nancy, when we get talking, it could be a 5-hour show. It may be even a 6-hour show. It just goes on. And it's one of those conversations, guys, where, like, when we're off air, we sometimes go talking for hours, right?
Yeah, just get off on tangents and just go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So look forward to that over the weekend. But guys, I've had a blast tonight. It's been great hanging out with you two again.
Fantastic 3 hours of happy action fun time.
And we didn't even ask anyone for $5 to love us long time.
No $5.
But yes, Scotty, your birthday. Has this been...
happy birthday, buddy.
Yeah.
Very, very cool that my birthday fell on a Freaky Friday, so that added.
Let the games begin.
Yes.
Very apt.
After I depart, the fun and games shall begin. Festivities for the evening shall start. So
you see, this is where I want to have like the kind of Star Trek thing where I can just kind of like make myself a drink, you know, just it's there, the replicator. I'll have a Kansas.
I wish we had teleporter technology because I'd beam you guys right in.
Oh, dude, you have got a portal in your house, just not one that me and Joe can use. It's more shadowy type people that come through your portal, right? But we'll be back over the weekend, folks. You stole the show on Freaky Friday, and that's what it's all about. So wherever you are, make it TFR. Don't go anywhere. Brent Thomas coming up right after the break. From the abnormal to the paranormal. That's how we roll. Until next time, we're out of here. Now I've got to be careful not to hang up on myself. Yay! I didn't hang up on myself.
Yay.
So
got some late people in the chat wanting to know how old I am. I am 37 years young.
Doesn't that make you feel old, Joe? We're like and he's muted up. Should we tell him he's muted up or just leave him looking like Charlie Chaplin?
Did you not hear me cursing? 37.
Hey, whoa! Don't do things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's funny though because like I've always been kind of like the young guy in the crowd. You know, even when it came to like being in school, like with my friends and stuff, I always hung out with like people that were like 2 grades higher than me or whatever. You know, like in high school, even when I was like a freshman, I always hung out with like the juniors and the seniors. So I've always been kind of a little more, I guess you could say, mature for my age.
Mature, yeah.
Yes.
You like a good wine, Scott? You like a good wine?
Like a good wine.
A lot of that probably has to do with the fact that like I'm the oldest child and I was the only child for a while, you know, and so it kind of forces you to grow up a little quicker, I guess you could say.
I had that pleasure of being an only child for 18 years, Scott. In fact, 19 years. So even though I've got a kid brother, I still feel like I was an only child because I'd flown the coop before he'd come into the world, you know. I tell you something. I wouldn't change that for the world because my brother, I tell you, you think I'm cool? You think I'm fun to hang out with and listen to? My brother takes it to the next level. He's got the looks, he's got the patter, he's got everything. And I tell you, I fear the day he comes on my show because I'm going to be bombed right out, I'm telling you.
Oh, you better watch out.
Yep.
Better watch out.
I'm telling you. So
that young blood's gonna come in and
the younger model, dude. The younger model, you know. The only thing that I've got a problem with my brother is he's got this terrible.
Would you like to go for a look? Here.
You unmuted yourself, Joe, yes.
Yes, I did.
Well, my brother has got one flaw, and that is he's far too keen of his mankles. Yes, he's one of these trendy types.
The mankles. The mankles.
The mankles is definitely not a good thing. But folks, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the super chats. If you want to become a member of the channel, you don't have to, but there is a join button. Now, Natalie has been having some issues with the join button, so just before we go, I'm going to quickly try and see if I can do this. I'll bring up the camera. Yep, wrong one. Hang on. Where are we? Channel. There we go. So if you come to the channel page, like so, you'll find a join button on there. You click the join button. It'll give you your 3 options, and then that bearded wonder will come on the screen. And you click join. Now, it'll take you to the relevant part, and away you go. Now, obviously, I won't be filling in any of that. I don't be joining my own channel. £2 a month, and you can have all your emojis. It's not even, you can't even get a cup of coffee in Starbucks for that. And I think even as much as I love Starbucks, I definitely know that you get better value for money if you tune into the Kev Baker Show channel. You get these 2 cats, you get me, you get all the callers, all the craziness.
It is definitely a smoking deal, everyone. $2 a month. I mean, come on. It's what else is there out there that you can get for like $2 a month?
Not much.
You help my channel remain in the commercially viable slot that YouTube really are looking for these days. So you are giving the channel longevity. Who knows what lies over the horizon for people like me? But I thank all of you because you are making sure that this channel, it keeps its place on YouTube. So until next time, we're going to love you. We're going to leave you. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back Sunday. You can't get enough of Kev Baker. Don't worry about it. I've got you covered. Can't get enough of Joe Joseph. It's weird, but we've got you covered. Can't get enough of Scott. I understand that one. I've got you covered. Until next time, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.
How dare you!